formation. Change now, we go racing for the first time this season. 3 hours of GT action, it's go.
It's very tight as they come down. Group of cars coming in, this has all got trouble written all over it. This is G3 cars.
Drop downhill there, head towards the Aqua Minerale. Imola, of course.
There's another one off through the gravel. As wide as possible as they drop downhill, put it back from the inside line. Yes, he did. Through he goes.
Good evening, good evening in some parts of the world, good morning, good afternoon, welcome to Apex Online Racing's YouTube channel for the first couple of hours of the 12 hours of Spa-Francorchamps. We had Super Bowl yesterday, we are now here with Tier 1 action around what could be at some point a very slippery Spa-Francorchamps circuit. My name is LukecEtheridge and joining me in the commentary box for the next couple of hours is Benikage. Benny, how are you doing?
Doing well, and honestly expecting the rain. This is Spa, and it's a legendary track known for absolutely just fantastic driving and a lot of rain. So looking forward to it, and it looks like it's not going to be long before we have the rain. I bet you we get it very early, but nonetheless, great to be here and excited for us. Looking forward to us all week, Luke. It's been fantastic season so far. Which has seen a very competitive at the top of the field. But leading the way, of course, is once again KEW Clown Fiesta Esports. They won the Super Bowl yesterday, and they will start on pole here today.
Yeah, they'll be starting on pole position. Did a fantastic job in the Super Bowl yesterday. It was Malinowski who took pole position for them. A superb time, 2:16.645. 2:16.3 actually in the Super Bowl. Me and Chinston were predicting maybe a low 2:17, high 2:16. Completely blew that one out of the water. It is the another Ferrari, the Race Anywhere SimSport 213, driven yesterday by Fabian Pife. They will be starting in second place. Championship leaders for the Van Wall SimSports. We know they're currently 1-2 in the championship, with 57 leading the 58 car. They are going to be starting 8th for the 57th and 7th for the 58. A bit like Monza, we're expecting the BMW to be a very good, a very consistent race car, but the Ferraris, the McLarens, even the Honda, with the 199 Honda being in 3rd place, they just seem to have the outright pace advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a pretty good season, I got to say, though, for both cars. Very, very competitive, and I'm not shocked, by the way, to see the KEW Clown Fiesta Esports car at the top, because that 869 showing really good pace. Had a little bit of a rougher race last time out, but really led from wire to wire, despite not getting a Super Bowl win at Silverstone for our opening race of the season. So not a surprise to see them back at the top this time. They get the Super Bowl, of course. Other cars to look out for, I think, is going to be the 501, that Forza Italia e-racing car. Been a really good, consistent top 10 performer. So we'll see if they can pick up some more, a good handful of points here for round number 3 as well.
Yeah, well, not too long before we get underway. It's a couple of minutes before the formation lap starts. Then we'll show you what things are looking like in Spa. But hopefully, they'll all be hoping it will be dry for the start of the race. It's going to be Going to be an interesting one. We saw in Tier 2 in Monza last time around. Tier 1 was a completely dry race. Tier 2 had that sort of greasy track conditions, which, if anything, is worse than when it's fully wet, because at least if it's, you know, full wet conditions, you've got a bit of an idea what the track is like. When it's greasy and you're in that borderline between, is it dry tyres, is it wet tyres, is it worth putting on the wets where you might be quicker but you'll lose out time in the pit stops, all these different strategies that everyone has got to go for. And of course, it's the longest race we've got of Season 2 here in the Endurance Championship, a full 12 hours, so definitely a proper test of endurance for all these drivers.
Absolutely, a really proper test of endurance for everybody. So we'll see how they fare up with the extended time. Of course, we had the 8 hours of Monza last time, but we had 9 hours of Silverstone. That was also a pretty lengthy race. So that was a race, by the way, that you talked about that had the greasy conditions. Really, the rain was just on and off all race in those 9 hours. So hoping Luke, not for the same here, would like at least extended periods of green flag dry racing personally, but yeah, it's gonna make a really good opening lap. I think it's gonna be fantastic, the run up to Eau Rouge all the way down the Camel Straight. So I think that's gonna be I hope it's not as messy as we got in Monza, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, certainly. I think everyone remembers Monza. I think Yardio posted about not only the shenanigans that happened into turn number 1, but it was also seemed to be quite messy, I think, as well, into Ascari. This run towards Eau Rouge and Madion always going to be fascinating for the endurance cars, and as we said, we aren't too far away from being able to get things underway. It's going to be going to be a very intriguing race, I feel, over the next 12 hours. We'll be with you for the first couple of hours. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the middle part of the race will be streamed, but you can guarantee that the last 5 hours we'll be able to there, and we will be able to get things underway. As you can see now, the drivers are just getting ready to start their formation laps, and it will be the number 869 that will be leading us away on this formation lap, driven by a certain Yardia. He says he's not feeling that great. Judging by the times he was setting in practice, he's still looking pretty good.
He absolutely still looking pretty good. So away they go off of the formation lap. You know what I'm really looking forward to see compete here as well is Grantis Caracas and that 720 Beaver Grease Racing Lithuania car. That is that's a team that's shown quite a bit of pace. 2 top 5s, I want to say, or at least a top 10 and a top 5 so far this season. Really fantastic stuff coming out of the 720 team. So and then of course the two you touched on earlier, the 2 Van Walsum sports cars, the 58, the 57, also showing quite a bit of pace. Really going to be, I think, I'm excited. I just can't wait to get started and underway. I'm very excited for this race.
Yeah, definitely. I think Spa's a track that if you're not going to get excited about a GT cars going around Spa, I'm not quite sure what is going to get you excited. You can see what the weather's likely to be. It's a nice and dry start to the race for all of these. Again, expect things to change as things go on. Really intrigued to see how some of these other cars do. But number 10 there, well, in 10th place. The number 45 car, I believe, was the only car yesterday to get things wrong in the qualifying session. So they are going to be starting in 10th place. The 122 did a great job to get into the top 10 of qualifying, but unfortunately was unable to take part in the Super Bowl session. So they're starting 11th. They're ones that have got good pace. And as we said, our championship leaders, 57 Van Wall car, just leading the championship at the moment by 1 point over the 58. It's definitely been a consistent start to the season for the 57. Second in both of their races. They'll be aiming for something better here. The 58 Van Wall on 86 points. I believe it is now 84 points for the 869, the KW Clown Fiesta Esports team, after their 3 points for Super Bowl. So those are definitely the ones that are fighting for the championship going into today. And of course, going into 4 weeks' time for the final race of the season at Laguna Seca. Even though this is a 12-hour race, well, that's slightly longer than the others, it is still only the same point system. So just a test of endurance. You've just got to make sure that you get things right. And if things do go wrong, Monza style at the start, you've got more time to recover.
Absolutely, we saw a really great recovery in Silverstone by a few cars, and it's never, you don't want to write yourself out of a race very, that early. So 12 hours, you get even more time to pull off a recovery. I mean, we've seen, like I said, with the Silverstone race, it was 9 hours, and we've seen a car go to really from below P40 into 15th. I'm trying to remember who it was, but it's just escaping me at the moment, and I can't find it in my notes. I want to say it was the 555, the Butterpound Motorsport car that did that, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. I might need to take a rain check on that information. Still, like you said, if things go wrong, plenty of time to recover, and plenty of time to really have a longer stints and try to really push the car. I feel like the Spa is going to be a little bit more, this is going to be weird to say, Luke, but I feel like it's going to be a little bit more forgiving than Monza, whereas like in Monza we just saw these Scary chicane pretty much trip up everybody at some point in the race. I feel like Spa, although I would say it's a more difficult track to drive, I feel like it's a little bit, I don't know, I just feel like there's not as many curbs that you have to aggressively take that is going to throw the cars that off balance as we saw in Monza. But well, those might be faded words.
Yeah,
we'll
have
see.
to wait and see.
Yeah. So drivers lining up now, though. They're almost at the end of the formation lap, so almost ready to get underway here.
Yeah, they've crossed the finish line, of course, and what is also the start line for Formula 1, but not here in endurance racing. They use obviously the older F1 pit and the older start line on the run down towards Eau Rouge and Radion. So it is Javier Hunzing leading away for the KEKW Clown Fiesta Esports team. A Ferrari 1-2 with Fabian Piffet alongside him, and I'm glad to say we have got the camera work, we have got the livery working now on Fabian's car, which is good news for all of us. All these brilliant liveries. That 501, the Ferrari, the Forza Italia, definitely a favourite of mine. I know we're supposed to be impartial in terms of teams, maybe not so much in terms of liveries. Right, ready and waiting, folks. Engine notes rising, and we will be able to get this race underway. Green flag for the AOR. 12 hours of Spa. Straight away, you can see Carreras trying to get alongside the Honda and maybe deciding discretion is the better part of valor in these early stages, and the slick streaming battle begins along the run towards the Camel Straight, towards Lacombe.
The 213, Fabian looking towards maybe trying to get a pass done on our leaders, and now going 3 wide, and it's still going to be the KEKW car in the lead, maintaining the lead. Nicely done. The 213 still in second as they head down towards Brussels. Yeah,
heading down towards Bruxelles for the first time. It is still the 869 and the 213. They've got away a bit at the moment. You've got Zemansky there just trying to hold on towards 5th place, and I think he's managed to do that. Perek trying to go all the way around the outside at Bruxelles in the number 8. That's always a bold move. Steve Hughes in the number 9, trying to put the Van Wall team under pressure at the moment on this run down towards Pouhon. And this is where yesterday we saw some interesting stuff in qualifying, and it looks again in the race. The BMW is definitely, being quite a forgiving car. That M4, able to just ride the curves a bit more, able to take slightly different lines, but at the moment it looks like the Honda's definitely got the run on the number 58, finding himself getting balked a bit. We said watch out for the 122 Mercedes round the outside at the first part of the campus chicane. That is a very brave move. Darren King having a fantastic start to this race, already gaining 2 positions.
Fantastic stuff from the Mercedes up into the top 10, now trying to pressure the 2 Van Sim Sports in front. York is the first, and he's right on the tail. So really good stuff. He wants more. Might get it. You still have to get through this difficult, really last bit of the technical section, Blanchiment and the chicane, but navigated pretty easily. And now King, is he going to go for the move? He is going to go for the move towards the outside of the bus stop chicane. He might be able to stick this to the second part of the chicane because he's got the inside line. That's yet another position from Darren King, P8 now.
We always say you can't win an endurance race on the first lap. No one seems to have told Darren King that. Absolutely flying this time around. It looks like Hughes is thinking about a move in the background as well, down the inside of the number 58 car. Matt York not having the greatest start to the race at the moment. He's lost 3 places on this first lap of the race. King has gained 3. As we go back towards the front of the field, though, is still the 869, 213 and 720. Extremely close together, extremely close to testing the track limits. As there we go, Carreras getting a much better run managing to get that Beaver Grease Racing Lithuania car up into second place for now. And things will just settle down into Lecombe. So, we've had the first lap of the race, and thankfully it looks like the majority have got through cleanly.
Yeah, except the 24 just spun in the back. I just saw that come up on the screen, the number 24. It is, he's very quickly dropping down the field. Where'd he go? Is he all the way back? He's in P42. That was the Rinaldi Racing number 24 Ferrari. Didn't quite see what happened, and now the 26 is spun, it looks like, as well. The 26 around at Lecombe.
Yeah, I feel if there is going to be any part of the circuit that might be Ascari-esque, because that Aston Martin is looking quite battered, it might well be Lecombe. It is very easy to get things wrong over the curbs there, and maybe, as we've already seen, drivers trying to go for the moves, trying to get things going well in the early stages of this race. We could see a few more victims there. A bit of cloud cover just started to come over the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. As you can see, expecting it to be dry conditions for the next 30 minutes. 26 degrees centigrade air temperature, 32 degrees track temperature. So should have no problem getting these tyres warmed up. For anyone who's not seen AOR endurance racing before, firstly, welcome along. And secondly, there are two different tiers. Tier 1 is the only one that is being streamed, but there are various people, I'm sure, checking out Tier 2, and through the pit wall link you can also find out the live timing for Tier 2. We also have two different classes within here. You've got the Platinum class, which features most of our faster drivers, and we've also got the Silver class, which has currently got the lead car of the number 760 for the STMP team in the McLaren. They are leading the Silver class race at the moment, and if we quickly go through what are the Silver class championship positions, it is Harvey Racing that are leading at the moment on that. They are on 66 points. Goat Racing second on 65, and the Virtual Drivers Alliance are on 58 points in that Silver class championship. Just because they're Silver drivers, though, as we've already seen, they can put in some pretty good performances and can definitely mix it with the best in the Platinum. Oh! Someone's had a massive moment coming up the hill. Herbert Szymanski, huge shunt towards the wall at Vadillon.
A massive shunt. He's just absolutely put it in the wall. Looks like he's teleported back to the pits. That is a disaster for the 199, the Honda 199. I did not see what happened, but he must have absolutely just smacked the wall as hard as possibly could.
We only caught the tail end of that. All I can imagine is, as we saw in qualifying yesterday, a few cars will have a bit of a wobble coming through Eau Rouge and Vadillon. If you save it, you might need a new underwear, and that's about it. If you don't save it, you're going to need plenty of new car parts, and yeah, unfortunately that has been quite a big shunt there for the Honda. After such a good qualifying session, Szymanski in the pits, number 26 in the pits as well. Whether they'll be able to get going, we'll have to see. What that has done, though, has meant these front three have now been able to build a bit of a gap over the number 8 McLaren there. We've got the 869, the 720 and the 213 just escaping at this moment in time. Things have calmed down a bit further back, although Darren King has managed to make another move, getting up now into, well, obviously, getting up into 7th place after we saw Szymanski losing it towards the wall and starting to put Connor Wright in the 58 under all sorts of pressure as we head towards the end of lap 3.
Fantastic stuff so far. Caracas, by the way, really, you said they are starting to break apart a little bit, a little break free of the rest of the pack. And the 213 of Fabian Pivot trying to stay with them, doing a decent job so far. But Caracas has been all over this tail of Jaroslav Hanzik, our KW Clown Fiesta Esports leader here. And Caracas may be going for a move. He may be getting hungry for a move. They're coming down the main straight over towards the start-finish line, and he might take this long stretch of road in front of him down to Lecombe and just try to get a move done. We'll see if he does that. He's done well to stay close, though, as it's 2 seconds now between 3rd and 4th. So the peloton, if you were, kind of being separated by 3 leaders right now, and that is Hanzik, Caracas, and Pivot.
Yeah, you can see there, Caracas just closing in the slipstream. We've got Hanzik feeling the need to go defensive, but he's left just about 1 car width. And can the McLaren squeeze it down the inside into Lecombe there? Tiny bit of rubbing between the two of them, and that might give Fabian Piffret just the opportunity he needs to go around the outside at the second part of Lecombe. And this could just give an opportunity for some of those further back to get their way in. 720 and 213 side by side on the way down towards Bruchel. Pife will have the inside for Speaker's Corner. No Name, Jackie X, various different... Ironically, for a corner that is called No Name, it does have various different names. And there we go. That is sometimes the danger if you go for a move half-heartedly. They've lost out big style to the 869. And now Fabian Pife is back up into second.
Nice move from Pife. Really having to stay with that for a while. It looked like it might have that overtake might fall away from here, and Caracas might be able to hang on. But he's done well to keep the nose of the car in there and keep it clean, and gets the move done around No Name. So fantastic work. Caracas just looks so hungry to get that pass right immediately back. I mean, he's just trying to absolutely everything right now. But no, overall, really nice move. And they head down towards Blanchemont, and really the fighting has not brought Yus Parek back into play too much. He's only gained about 4/10 through all that fighting. So we'll see if Caracas goes to get the move done. He is going to back towards the outside into the bus stop chicane. Can he get the move done? This is what we saw where a previous overtake took place. No, the door shuts on him, and Pife holds on to second.
Yeah, they're fighting quite hard at the moment. But like we said, we're only 10 minutes into this race, and they're certainly laying their stall out early on. 5:01 then, you can see there, the Forza Italia e-racing. I've said it already. Gorgeous livery on that Ferrari. That green, white and red really does work quite well here at Spa. Started to try and put Parek under pressure. We've seen of one Ferrari managing to get ahead of McLaren just one lap ago. We'll see whether the 5:01 can manage to do it as well. They've been another team that have been there or thereabouts so far this season, doing fairly well. 6th place in Silverstone, 10th place last time out at Monza. Looks like they're going to be thinking about trying to see if they can sneak up into 4th in this race. Parek goes to try and cover off the inside. Can Prochnika make it all the way around the outside? Pife's actually ran wide just up ahead, and that's allowed for 720 to get through. So didn't quite see what caused the start of that, but Pife just getting over the curbs at Lacombe and now drops into 3rd. It's very forgiving there. There is plenty of runoff area to allow you to do that. Understandably, though, if you do gain an advantage, it's better to give the place back. It's better to avoid finding the wrath of the stewards.
Yeah, definitely don't want to find the wrath of the stewards, of which we haven't. I don't think we've had anything come through race control yet. There's been very minimal incidents. So overall, it's a completely different story than the last time out. It's last time out we had quite a just calamity of events at the start. This one fairly, the calamity of events has been left to the racing, which you love to see, and we've got plenty of it. Caracas back in front of Pife, and a little bit of space between those two cars now, so maybe the fighting in the intermittent has stopped. Meanwhile, by the way, I'm looking at I believe it was York who Matt York down in 9th, who was really trying his best to get around Stay Hughes in 8th place. He was all over him on the run down to Lacombe in the previous lap, but he couldn't get the move done. And now you can see he's maybe starting to think, is there room up on the inside here? He really is looking for a pass. Is he going to stick his nose up on the inside? No, he doesn't have enough space into the bus stop chicane. But this number 58 Van Wall Sim Sports BMW really trying to get back into P8, is climbing all over the rear of this number 9 Honda.
Yeah, further back as well. I'm talking about climbing over all the rear. Andreas Dormeyer starting to come under some pressure from Mats Lehmann Anderson. Some more race anyway, Sim Sports car. We've got Pife up in 3rd. We've got 2 of the Astons in 14th and 15th as well. Looks like Dormeyer is just a bit of a cork in the bottle at this moment in time for these battles further down the field, of course, as we just go on board then with Mats Lehmann Anderson in that number 12 Race Anywhere Sim Sport car. Nice and sturdy, just a bit too much of a hit over the top of the curb at Radion though. Seems to have got away with that one. Seems to have got a fantastic run here on the BMW, so we'll see whether he can make it on the brakes into Lacombe. Dormeyer on the outside, Anderson on the inside, heading into the corner. And that is a very nice move from the number 12 Aston. I'm sure the number 48, well, we're hoping he can follow through his teammate. If not at the end of this lap, definitely next lap around.
As clean as you'd like from Mats Lanham Anderson. As clean as you like. He gets the move done before they even go into the turn, really. So used all of the slipstream available that he could have, as the 370's going around at Lacombe. So that's another back marker, kind of losing the rear end there. But nonetheless, really nicely done and a solid move. As Matt York, by the way, talked about climbing all over the back of Hughes. Jacob Tarasuk in the STMP McLaren number 670 has gotten by the Van Mol SimSports car, which the number 58 is now dropped to P10.
Yeah, Matt York down in P10 at the moment. We said the BMW is a more consistent car. Maybe in worse weather conditions, if we do get any. Touch wood, I'm not being blamed for a commentator's curse if we don't get any rain, or even if we.
I mean it's Spa. We're getting some.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna come out and say we're getting some. So if you want to put the commentator's curse, go ahead and put it on me.
Yeah, it's dry at the moment, but I think, as Ben's just said, we probably will get some rain at this point. Whether it's been a deliberate setup choice from the BMW to be a more stable car anyway, whether they're feeling we've got a better chance if things do start to get wet later on. They're still just in this sort of third train at the moment. You have got that lead trio still leading away, still Honzink setting pretty good lap times at this moment, just trying to keep things consistent. 2:18.6 is the fastest we've seen from anyone, and that was Pife with the fastest lap at the moment. Those things very close together. Then you've got the next one. In fact, Pavic has got away here. Prochnika must have had a mistake somewhere. He was really hounding the number 8 McLaren, and now he's dropped back. So that fancy Ferrari, the 501, is just dropped back a bit. As the 57 Van Mol SimSport car, Connor Wright on board that. Looks like he's going to try and make a move on Darren King. Darting all over the place on the run down towards Lacombe. Just has to back in. Just has to give up on that one for now. So Pavic's got a bit of free space now. In fourth in the number 8 is for 501. Just made a slight mistake. And he'll be trying to recover onto the back of Wright and King.
Yeah, the door just shutting at the very end there for Wright. He had to pull out of it, but he knows that he can find the pace to get the pass done on Darren King in front. So just got to pick his timing. Just got to stay with King a little bit more, maybe get a little bit closer to this rear end, pick his timing, and then just execute the move. That's all he's got to do. He knows he can get it done. Connor Wright eyeing P5 up here. By the way, a little bit further towards the back is that Denis Strelnikov, by the way, the number 45, who's, I believe, started a little bit further up the field than this, if I remember correctly. Yeah, started P10. He's not had a great start to the race. Now he's down 9 positions, the 45 Crazy Life McLaren, and now trying to find a pace to get back around Joey Diaz in the 555 BMW number 555 Butter Pound Motorsport car, as Strelnikov and that number 45 down 9 positions since the start.
Yeah, definitely. I think not ideal. It's a bit of an understatement then for the number 45 McLaren, not having the start that they would have wanted. As I say, looking very quick on the exit of Stavolo there, not really going to be able to do anything on the way into Blanchimont. Just a slight bit of lift to make sure they don't lose the rear of the car coming through there, because that a bit like coming through Rouge and Madion would be another moment that would be extremely difficult to save, and Strelnikov just stays back for now. There's a pretty good battle going on behind for 21st overall and 3rd in the silver class, currently being led by Fang. He's in 3rd place at the moment. He's got Parlay just hanging inside the top 20. Point system then for these for this class, the point system for the different races. You do get 50 points if you manage to get a victory then, and there are points for the top 20 as well as the points for the class. 3 for the winner of Super Bowl, which was the 869, and you also get that point for the fastest lap. Strelnikov is really looking aggressive then on the back of Diaz at the moment. 45 McLaren faces the 555 BMW. That BMW sort of the opposite of what you'd think though. Quite nice to drive and seems to have pretty good straight line speed.
Yeah, very good straight line speed. Going to fend off this challenge down towards Lacombe for Strelnikov. An update, by the way, on Hubert Szymanski, Team Mugen NSX, the 199. You remember, started P3 in the Super Bowl, just left the pits. Has just left the pits on damage on lap 7. I believe that car is probably, I want to say 3 to 4 laps down as that car. So that's how much damage was on the 199 Honda. So a lot of race still left, of course, and we'll see if Szymanski can recover some of it. But given a lot of laps that team is down, it's going to be a long road towards any recovery, really. We'll see if what they can do with the time remaining. But nonetheless, as you said, Strelnikov trying to get by Diaz and still hanging on to this rear end, really real close. Just been about 2-3 tenths has only been the difference between the two. Maybe trying to see if he can get a run down on the Blanchemont. I don't think it's going to be enough to make the pass here or down into the bus stop chicane, but we'll see if Strelnikov can get in a position where maybe heading up Bredilian towards Lacombe, we get this pass from the number 45.
Yeah, it looked pretty racy, obviously, last time around. Talking about what might be a pass, Fang there just fainting to the inside of the number 22. So this for the final points position overall. And you've got one of the Mercedes battling with the 969 Ludwigs in the Lamborghini. I think, again, they might be the sole Lamborghini. They seem to do quite well in it and seem to enjoy that Lambo. Doesn't seem to be the most loved car. Further up the field, Doyermeyer in the number 5 BMW has lost a place to the 48, lost a place to the 920, and he's starting to come under some pressure now from the Victoria's Secret. Maybe not, maybe if we're going for brilliant team name puns, that is definitely one of them. Looks like they could be victorious in this battle sooner rather than later. 51 really starting to hound Doyermeyer now in the number 5, has got the run, has got the inside line on towards Lacombe, and you'd imagine should be able to, on the brakes, take 16th place. Second place in the silver class, just starting to work their way up the field now, 16th overall.
Oh, contact, by the way, the number 1 McLaren spinning out. You said that fight for P20, by the way, the head into Lacombe, Fang went up towards the inside line and just got into the inside of P20. Did not see, just lost the car at the moment. But yeah, Fang is up to the P20 for now. We'll see if that comes back to the stewards. But definitely has sent one of his fellow racers, compadres, around at Lacombe.
Yeah, it was the 22 and the number 1 coming together then. You can see Papale, thankfully, has been able to continue relatively unscathed. Has just lost a couple of places in all of that one. So again, might be something to see from the stewards later, whether there will be any repercussions from that. Back towards the front of the field though. We've got Yardia Hansing just starting to break away, and it is now from Fabian Piffet, who is up into second place again. Back to Haben, this McLaren 1-2. When we said Pavic in the number 8 had a bit of free air earlier on, you can see straight away there, no free air whatsoever. Darren King down the inside at the first start of the bus stop. It's going to be a straight drag race down towards the finish line. Well, that is Darren King, who started in 10th place, let's not forget. He's now leading the chasing pack. The 1-2-2 we said missed Super Bowl yesterday. Just got to feel they're going to be a bit gutted having missed that, because it looks like they've got some brilliant pace here. King up to 4th in the 1-2-2.
Tell you what, it doesn't look like it's phased him too much. You absolutely bring all the intensity and the pace to get up into P4 here within the opening 10 laps of this race. Fantastic stuff from Darren King and the DTWR RBG Academy number 122 Mercedes. Fantastic. We'll see now. Now my question is, can they chase down this leading pack? Because Caracas has got 4 seconds on Darren King. It's a good gap that's opened up between the top 3 and the rest of the field. Can Darren King find the pace to close it?
Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? First real lap of the race he's going to have in some free air, so it'll be interesting to see what his pace is relative to the 2 Ferraris and to Caracas. They're currently in the podium places. Update on the silver class. It is the number 760 STMP car that is now actually up into 8th place. Someone must have had a bit of a moment. Not quite sure who has had an issue there. I think, Steve Hughes in the number 9 has dropped a long way down the field. The Modulo Drago Corsa Honda was up in the top 10. He's now outside of the point. So that promotes our silver class leader up into 8th place. It is still the number 16, or the number 51 car in second place at the moment, currently being driven by Matthias Bogas. You can see their Fang still in third in silver class, but maybe that number 1 car, Yeet Gaming, maybe a bit too much yeeting on the way in towards Lacombe, might end up finding themselves feeling the wrath of the stewards. We'll just have to wait and see how those things pan out later on. As we said, the leader was starting to get away. Yardier, things just closing up again. These front three seem to be going through periods of being faster than the other. Looks like at the moment, though, Pt1 has got the pace.
Absolutely. And by the way, when you want to full send it, you want to full send it yourself, not full send the other cars. That's the key. But no, joking aside, yeah, definitely going to keep an eye out on race control for what happened there. We'll see. But Pt1, back to this front race, trying to close this gap. It's under half a second here, trying to get on the back of Hanzik. He's in a good area with which they could do that. And the run down here, all the way up from Eau Rouge to Rodillion now, all the way down to Kemmel Straight towards Lacombe. We'll see if he can maybe go for a move. Maybe if he thinks he's close enough. I don't think he is going to be. But he is in the slipstream, and he is going to dive onto the inside, and then he's just going to have a little bit of a look. He's going to back out of it eventually. So within 2/10 now is this 213 Ferrari, the Race Anywhere Sim Sport car. Pt1 trying to contest for the race lead. And I'll tell you what, a little bit of a gap's opened up between him and Caracas as well. Over a second between the two of them now.
Yeah, so that gap, we said things just ebbing and flowing at the moment. Stronikov still all over the back of Diaz, still trying to recover from that poor start earlier on. In fact, these two are looking like they're just closing up to Bogas and Dormeyer at this moment in time, so that might be one to watch out. In fact, I think they're actually lapping one of the Porsches, who obviously didn't have the best start to the race. Still a long time to go, though. We've still got just over 11.5 hours to go here at the Spa 12 hours. Make sure to check out our sponsors, Driver 61 and SIMSOK. Links to them will be in the description if you want to improve your driving through coaching, or you want to improve some driving with some fancy racing stock gear to make yourself with that extra grip that you've got on the pedals. If you use the controller, I'm not sure if it's going to work, but feel free to try it. This is looking like a pretty interesting battle further up as well. 808 versus the 920 versus the 51.
Yeah, the battle for P13. I'm sorry if I butcher any of these names, but Mateusz, is it Sikowski? Looking the Euroway Racing 808, trying to hold on to P13. A lot of pressure from Ilya Dunstan, who is looking to make a move here. And maybe Blanchemont, he's going to have a really good run, maybe with the slipstream down into the bus stop chicane. He's being pressured though, as well by Mateusz. Is that Bogus? But Victoria's Secret number 51, they are really all over each other, these three. I'll tell you what, there's definitely going to be some moves made between these three on the run down to Lacombe. We'll see if they can get it done. Dunstan maybe looking towards the inside here around La Source, but not. He's just trying to get a better run, it looks like, out of this corner, so he could really pressure Sikowski. And he's could be going side by side down to Rouge. He eventually puts it back in line, but this 920 is all over the place, trying to get past this 808.
Yeah, you can see really just trying to get in the slipstream at the moment. Bogus not with the best run out of La Source, so really ruined any chance he's maybe got of getting involved in it this time around. But here comes Oya Dunitsin trying to go down the inside into Lacombe later on the brakes. Bit of contact between the two of them. Can Sikowski do the switch back? Not on this occasion, so that is Dunitsin up into 13th place then for the 920 car. They started down in 20th and they have only got two drivers, so it's going to be a bit of a long day then for the Armamentario Skidinov Racing team. Didn't finish race number 1, but were 7th the last time out at the 8 Hours of Monza a few weeks ago, so trying to work their way through the field at the moment and doing a pretty respectable job. To say they started in 20th, already up into 13th. Their next target will be the two Aston Martins for the Race Anywhere Sim Sports team, the number 12 and the number 48. As things just close up at the front of the field again, Honting, Pt1 and Caracas, and you can see here, Caracas maybe just having that one lap, taking things a bit easier, was fastest out of all these three last time around. They're still pulling away from the chasing pack. The 720 Beaver Grease Racing Lithuania car really trying to put Pt1 under pressure here through Blanchimont on the run towards the bus stop chicane. Perhaps the 213 just getting a bit far ahead. Can throw a handkerchief over these front three at the moment. So great racing so far. Could all be decided in the pit stops. Could be decided with the weather changes. Could, with how close they are, be decided by just one slight mistake.
Yeah, definitely. Really, really solid racing from these three at the front. I'm going to keep an eye on Caracas to see if he wants to get a move done down into what is going to be really the most ideal area to pass, which is Lacombe. So, by the way, Schakowsky under a lot of pressure. He's lost the place to Bogus, and now he is under pressure he's side by side with Dormeyer, number 5 BMW. So, number 5 trying to get the move done on the inside of the source. He's not really got a great run out of it, and we'll see if he can keep the move. Meanwhile, back up towards the front, Pifay trying the inside on the run down on the exit of Lacombe, and Pifay trying to stick
contact!
it. Oh, they make contact! And it's Hanzik who remains in the lead. That's put Pifay back into P3. Thankfully, he's not lost too much time. Luke. It could have been a lot worse.
Oh, well, I think if I'd have been behind the wheel, it would have been a lot worse. But that's why I commentate and not race, ladies and gentlemen. Well held from Fabian Pifay there. But yeah, just went for the move around the outside of the first part, inside for the second part of Lacombe. Wasn't quite fully ahead of Hansing. Just a tiny tap between the two of them. And Caracas really the big winner out of all of that. And time for Pifay to maybe think about giving it another go. They are just catching up to a bit of traffic ahead of them. That will be the 199 Szymanski, who is in last place but is still able to carry on in this race, which is absolutely great to see. We'll check what was happening further down the field. We said Dormeyer was starting to put Schakowsky under all sorts of pressure. In the end, Juan Diaz able to take advantage of all the battling between them, getting ahead. And now Strolnikov also on the back of Andreas Dormeyer, the number 5 driver. So one that we've seen on F1 games in previous time. I know he flits between this, ACC, iRacing, definitely a bit like all the drivers now, sort of masters of the various different racing classes, really like to test themselves across the various different games. Darren King has managed to just break away from Perek then, from just Perek to consolidate that top 4. Wasn't really closing up too much to the back of the front. I imagine on the last lap though, would have gained a tiny bit of time on Pifay after that little incident between himself and the 869.
So he was looked at a good pace, and that's Ilya Duditston. He got that pass done, remember, on Schakowsky, who's now P15, but he's put almost 3 seconds between him and Bogus, the silver class number 51 McLaren behind him. So not only has he made the pass done, but he has absolutely launched himself free of the chasing pack there, now trying to chase down Milan Hawk, who is in P12 of the number 48 Aston Martin Race Anywhere SimSport car, who he himself is with Daniel Krebs and Mats Lynam Anderson. A little bit of a battle here, a 3-way battle for P10. Lynam Anderson still holding on to it under a lot of pressure. This could be the area where the move gets done, by the way, because Krebs has gone for the move towards the outside on the run down towards the Lacombe, but he puts it back in line. He just doesn't have the juice to get the move done.
Yeah, just not able to get enough horses out of that McLaren to make the move. Similar to what we saw at the front, Caracas was all over the back of the 869 KEKW car, just not able to get far enough alongside to really make a move. A realistic possibility. Dormeyer has, I think he's managed to get ahead of Schakowsky, who's now dropped a bit further back. Fang's also got ahead of Strelnikov, so the McLaren's having quite an interesting race at the moment. Still nothing from race control regarding any incidents, actually. It's been a very clean start to the race. I'm sure everything is working in the background. I think there's a few drive-through penalties maybe to sort out in Tier 2, which might just have a might have an effect on how things are going there, but everyone has kept it clean so far. And we saw last time out, it was obviously barring the big incident, it was a fairly clean start to the race. We'll talk about this a bit later on, as Fang's going to think about round the outside at campus on Schakowsky. That is not one that traditionally you see work, and it hasn't worked on this occasion. But we got to a point in the race last time where a lot of drivers were just picking up, the odd little time penalty, mainly for pit lane infringements. Definitely as the mental fatigue starts to come in, it's very easy just to take the limiter off too soon, put the limiter on too late, or just run too quick of a pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of that at Silverstone too, so I expect that to still be a little bit of the case today. This is a big group, by the way, right in the midfield between P17, Sikowski, all the way back to, looks like, is that Watson in P22 is the last car in this train, I want to say. Or no, it's actually Sam Smeets, which is a lap car, so it would be Martin Seinolter in P20. This is quite the group to keep an eye on. Sikowski under a lot of pressure from Frank, who wanted to go towards the inside and run down to the La Source, and he might do so. Sikowski eventually putting it towards the wide, but they're just, it's almost like a NASCAR race in the fact that you just have so many cars willing to go side by side, and almost two slipstreams line up. Now they go single file on the run down towards Eau Rouge, but look, these 5 cars are really all on top of each other. A lot of weaving I expect to happen onto the straight now. Maybe somebody trying to look for a move. We'll see if they do go for the move down the inside, as Fang is going to go and try and stick his car towards the outside, actually, on the run down to Lecombe. Is he going to have enough juice? He may be going for a switchback here as the other car run wide.
Yeah, Sikowski completely cutting Lecombe there, and that's given Fang the chance to get the move done. It was very opportunistic as well from Martin Seinolter. Oh, contact between the two of them. This could end badly, Fang. Oh, thankfully, Fang saw that one coming in his mirrors, and in the end, Strelnikov, just by being behind, ends up gaining out of all of that. Tiny bit of contact between Seinolter and Sikowski, the 666 and the 808 McLarens, just making a tiny bit of contact there. Fang having to bail out of that to avoid getting involved, and you can see there's a massive traffic jam forming from all of this. Ludwig's has managed to get his way back involved, but Strelnikov just breaks away, and you can see how much time he has lost by being caught in this train, because let's not forget, Strelnikov was all over the back of Juan Diaz, who's now about 3 seconds up the road.
Yeah, and Fang did very well, like you said, excellent work from Fang to keep that car kind of out of it, but did lose the position. Kind of came out worse for it anyway, lost a couple positions for it. So Fang now is got a slot right back in this giant train, which he's got a lapped car in front, and Sam Smeets, the number 95 Porsche, and he's got to find a way back around some of these cars. So Fang did well there to keep his nose clean, but he's come out worse for wear anyway in terms of the standings. As back up, I just want to go back up towards the front, because there's the 3 at the front going down the Kemmel Straight. So see if anyone wants to make a move. I thought they tried to last time. Caracas just has a look towards the inside, but nothing doing yet again. As they get even tighter, it's kind of unnerving a little bit there, Luke, when you get the 3 cars in the lead, right, and then they all pull within 3/10 of each other, only 3/10 separating first from third, and then you're running down to Lecombe. It gets a little bit nervous, but both drivers they got nerves in steel, mate. They are still running 1, 2, 3 Hanzik, Caracas, and Pife.
Yeah, we've seen 1, 2, 3 in various different orders. For most of it, apart from the split second, it has been Hanzik in the lead. But Pife and Caracas, 720 and 213, the Lithuania Viva Grease car Race Anywhere SimSport Ferrari, have just been swapping out. Fastest man on track at the moment, said he was close to being lapped by this lead group not so long ago, is Hubert Szymanski. Stayed in the car, definitely hasn't let that incident at Eau Rouge and Radion earlier on affect him, and he's absolutely flying around at the moment. Probably in a situation now where you feel not got too much to lose, might as well push as hard as possible, see how high you can get up the order. Still 3 laps off the nearest car, but if they can continue this pace that we saw, obviously looked very quick in qualifying as well yesterday, would expect them to possibly still even get some points out of this race. It is definitely not all over yet. And in the leaders, we've got Caracas all over the back of Hanzik here. 720 versus 869. Not quite enough room, I don't think, to make it around the outside there, but the Beaver Grease Racing Lithuania McLaren definitely tries to squeeze his McLaren around the outside of the Ferrari. Just has to sit back for now, and it is still the end of lap 16. Hanzik, Caracas, and Pife. King just on his own in the back in 4th, and then Perek right, Pochnika, Tarasic leading in the silver class, York and Linham Anderson. Those are the leaders. 38 minutes gone. Normally here we It's pretty traditional. You see pit stops round about the hour mark, so it will be interesting who is the first one of these leaders to blink.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I bet everyone's going to be watching who pits first and deciding when to pit off that. As Caracas has got a really good run here, and he is going to stick this car towards the outside of the first part of Lacombe. He's got right alongside. This time he's got a much better positioning here. He could be able to get this move done. A little bit, maybe a little bit of contact, a little bit twitching there, but he just can't get it done on the second part of Lacombe, and that's opened the door for Pife. Pife now on the inside and run down to Brussels, and it's Pife who takes full advantage of Caracas's I don't want to say greed. I think that's a bit hard, but harsh. But aggression on Hanzik, and Pife's back up into P2.
It's always the danger. It is always the danger there. I mean, nothing wrong with what Caracas did, but the front two start fighting too much and thinking about themselves. You can just see there, Pife able to just stay back, able to get the move done. In fact, now Pife starting to come under a lot more pressure from Caracas as well, who was very briefly there, as you can see from the timings out on the left-hand side, was briefly into the lead of this race. It's been a move further down the field as well. Championship leader in the, the championship leaders in the 58 car. Matt York has managed to work his way back ahead of the 760 STMP McLaren. They're still leading in silver class, and you can see there, they are in the lead, the 760. It is the 51 McLaren then. That is in second place at the moment in that class for the Victoria's Secret car. And then the 666, Beeswax Warburton's car, now third in the silver category. Again, there's still plenty of time for things to change in that one. Got a pretty decent battle going on here between Schikowski and Penguin. It just looks like Your Way Racing 808. This can happen sometimes. Once you start getting overtaken, once you start getting offline, things just seem to go downhill for you.
Yeah, it's been quite a fall from Schikowski, by the way, from the points down now into P23. So I'm sure Schikowski, the 808 McLaren, will try to reassess how to gain some of that pace that they seem to have lost. As still, I'm just trying to keep one eye on the front, because Pife actually went for a move into the bus stop chicane and couldn't get it done. Now is all over the rear of this 869, and he swings out wide, and the moment he breaks the slipstream, he just loses the pace, and he doesn't want to make the same mistake that Caracas made. And it's not really a mistake, to be fair to Caracas. He didn't, like you said, he didn't do anything wrong, but doesn't want to make the same move that Caracas did in opening the door for P3. And in that previous lap, Luke, I want to say Caracas, that the problem is he was just so far alongside the 869 going into Lacombe. It looked so good, but then on the second part, on the exit of Lacombe, he just kind of lost the pace, and the 869 just overtook him, and that's when Pife came falling right through to fill the void that was left there.
Yeah, dude, that's just gonna happen at times. Just maybe a tiny bit over eager on the brakes. Was still fantastic to go all the way around the outside. We just caught the tail end of the move between the number 16 McLaren and Schikowski in his as well. So they've swapped around places at the moment, and all this battling between the front three just starting to bring Darren King back into things. Was faster than the fastest of these three last time around was Pife on a 219.8. Fastest we saw from Darren King last time around was a 219.1. He's just trying to get himself back up towards this battle, as it looks like there's going to be a move into bus stop this time. It'll be Caracas thinking about it on P3 again, swinging out wide, just trying to get in the mirrors. Maybe not even a real attempt at an overtake, just more of an attempt at a distraction to try and surprise the car ahead, try to force them into a mistake. But these are very wise drivers. You're going to have to try something different than that to get a mistake out of these. 51 then, Bogus in the Victoria's Secret car, second in silver class, might soon be 11th overall. He's all over the back then of Krebs, and you've got Hack there as well in the 48 trying to make things work. Down the inside goes to 51, Matthias Bogus, very nice move into the bus stop chicane. He is now up into 11th. He's leading this train, consisting of himself, the 169 McLaren, the 48 Aston Martin, and Dunitsin, who has caught up to these as well. So it'll be interesting to see whether Dunitsin can carry that pace on that he seemed to have earlier on to make some moves. As round the outside, Pt1 trying it into Lacombe. Don't think it's going to be far enough alongside. Seems to be able to carry a lot more speed there. Going to be side by side for the second part of this. And I wonder whether this could be when Quebecas can take advantage. They're still going to go side by side. 869 just hanging on from the 213 here, who thinks about round the outside into Bruchel. Turned in there when there was a McFarvey alongside you. That was never going to work. And Quebecas says thank you very much. Pt1 again got it alongside, but no panicking from the 869 from Yardier Hansing. Just able to hold on. And that tiny bit of contact allowing the 720 back through.
Yeah, absolutely. So Quebecas back up into P2. If you're Pt1, you're a little bit peeved because it did look like the 869 ran you a little bit wide there on Brussels, on the rundown of Brussels, I should say. So I'm sure he's going to be a little bit peeved at that. But nonetheless, it is Quebecas back up into P2. Lots of great fighting between the top three. It has to be said. That the other thing is that Dunitsin in that 920 showing so much pace. This is fantastic from the 920. It has to be said. Started P20, by the way, and now is up into 14th. And with the amount of pace that this Armamentario skidding off racing 920 number BMW is, I would fancy them to have a go with these cars in front in this pack and maybe get a few more places. So Dunitsin is doing a fantastic job so far, I have to say. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to keep an eye on the gaps there in that pack. That's a pretty high contested midfield pack. Meanwhile, it is Strelnikov trying to get by Jay Fang, beg your pardon, get by Strelnikov. So Fang, we talked about doing well to duck the contact that Steinalter had previously with was it Tchaikovsky, I want to say. And now, and of course, Fang losing 2 positions. Now back in front of that pack finally for the number 1 McLaren J-Team car.
Yeah, they've managed to do that one. Krebs, we saw, was coming under some real pressure then from Milan Hack in the number 48 race anywhere, SimSports Aston Martin. And Hack has managed to make that move work up into 12th place. Krebs just slotting in behind. And Dunitsin, you can see just all over the back of them, but third car in the train, we've seen a couple of times already from the leaders. Sometimes it's better to just sit back, let the front two have their own little battle, and see if you can try and gain an advantage at any point. As right in the slipstream here, right in the real tracks of the 169, of the, which car is that? Of the 169, yes, is the Dunitsin. Tries it down the inside into Lacombe. And what do I know about making moves done? Dunitsin there, clearly with a better run at the top of the hill at Eau Rouge and Radion. Works up into 13th place. Hack will be the next target. And then we'll see just how further up the order they can get. At the front, looks like things have just spaced out a tiny bit here. Hosding now able to build a tiny bit of a gap. For the first time in about 4 or 5 laps, look like Hansing's not going to be under any pressure coming into the bus stop, which I'm sure he will be extremely relieved about.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right there. But Pt1 and Quebecas have already shown the pace to be able to close this gap, so it's more about can Hansing maintain it on the Kemmel Straight, because that seems to be where really Pt1 and Quebecas have tried to make the moves is the end of the Kemmel Straight into Lacombe. So we'll see if Hansing can really just find the pace to put the gap big enough to not have to worry about Lacombe at all, or pressure from Lacombe. As Darren King, by the way, 1.5 seconds back. It was 4.4, so all this fighting is really just putting Darren King back in. Problem King has, Luke, is that when there is no fighting between the top 3, he is losing time. That gap is widening. But when Pt1 and Quebecas and Hansing all are fighting, trying to defend or overtake each other, King is finding, or King is gaining time.
Yeah, that's, and to be honest, they've been doing plenty of fighting at the moment, so there's been plenty of opportunity for him to work his way up. But yeah, optimum pace. His best lap time is almost actually identical to Hansing's, but that is slightly slower than the outright fastest, which is still Fabian Pt1 then in second place at the moment, and he remains in second place this time around. Probably the most calm lap we've had amongst the leaders, and also amongst some of that midfield pack. You can see here the 169 of Krebs has really dropped back from Hack and Dunitsin then for what was that battle for 12, 13 for 14. Started to fall into the clutches of the number 5 back of Pom's car, driven by Andreas Dormeyer at the moment, and also the 555 BMW driven by Diaz. Not too far away, I don't think, before we are going to see some pit stop periods. Might even see some driver changes. I'd be surprised if we see a lot of changes though this early in the race, being such a long race.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just having a look down the field, Matt York in P8, by the way, it seems to have caught the Lucian Prochenka in the Forza Italia .PLE Racing 501 Ferrari. So we'll see if York can put the pressure on the Ferrari there as well. And a little bit further down the field, Milan Hack is got Dunitsin, or Dunitsin, I should say. A little bit of a gap that's opened up between the two. Dunitsin up to P13 from P20. Was looking to pressure Milan Hack, but almost a second's opened up between the two of them now. And Dunitsin has left that midfield pack of Krebs, Dormeyer, and Joey Diaz as well. Those three still fighting it out in for P14. And then there's a little bit of a gap with Fang starting to open up a little bit of a space between Seinalter and Watson, and Strelnikov behind him for the final points paying positions.
Yeah, just that gap started to build then at the moment. We're on board with the number 760 McLaren, Jakub Tarsic behind the wheel at the moment. As we said, leading the class at the moment in the silver and doing a very good job indeed. He's been overtaken by Matt York in the last few laps, but fair play to him. He's managed to stick with the 58 Van Wall SIMSOK car, who is seeing his teammate Connor Wright in the 57 Van Wall SIMSOK BMW, lead BMW, and currently on to have that championship lead going into the final round. Back towards the front of the field then, again, things getting extremely close between P3 and Jardier Honzik, and the 869 KW car just seems to be able to stay ahead once more. We'll see whether that is the case, running down the hill out of Malmedy in towards Bruxelles. And once more, Honzik just dealing with the pressure, coping with things at the lead of this race. It's been a superb display so far from all of these of just how to keep calm under pressure. Probably easier to do in the first hour of the race than it would be in the last hour.
Very much so. I'll tell you who's actually on for the lead, by the way, of the championship, and that is the 869 Ferrari, the KW Fiesta Clown Esports car. We've had a few notes come in from race control. The first race control has woken up. They've had a look at quite a lot of incidents actually over down in tier 2, but for tier 1, the incident involving car 370 and 10, no further action. 370 closed the gap too late. The incident involving cars 45 and 12, that's Strelnikov and Lynham Anderson, deemed to be a racing incident. The 444 and the 55, by the way. So trying to see who that is on the board. The 444 is Benz down in the P24, and Eric in the 55 number BMW as well. Number 444 given a 15-second time penalty for causing a collision and 1 license point. And then the incident involving 370 and 10. That is Robert Arlavi in the Crow Racing Team BMW number 370, and the number 10, which is in P32. That's Thomas Saivokas in the Beaver Grease Racing Extra Greasy Lexus number 10. The 10-second time penalty awarded to number 370 for not leaving space for the other car to rejoin, therefore causing a moderate collision, which could have had dramatic consequences, also given 2 license points for that. So that is the first from race control today.
Yeah, first we've heard from race control, and hopefully we don't hear anything about these lead battles from race control, because it's brilliant to watch so far. P3 again trying to make it work all the way around the outside at the first part of Lecombe. Has he got enough of a line ahead to be in front into Malmedy? Yardier is just doing enough at the moment. Most of the times when this has happened, we've seen whichever car has been in third place able to take advantage. Can the 720 Beaver Grease Lithuania car do anything? Not on this occasion. They stay as they were then. Still 869 leads 213, leads 720, and every time they go for the move, it's just allowing King to close up that tiny bit, just keeping that gap. Around about 2 seconds at the moment.
I feel like when the timing board updates, that gap's going to drop dramatically because he looks awfully close compared to previous laps that he has been. So we'll see if that gap does come down in the next timing board update. But yeah, Pife now having to see if he can shake Caracas, because Caracas looks really up for this. He's very hungry on the rear end of Pife here as they'll come around. What is that? Paul Friere, I believe that is, after Stavlo. So we'll see now on the run down the bus stop. Bus stop's been a very popular kind of secondary overtaking point. The two main overtaking points on this track right now are Le Source, the entrance to Le Source, and then of course the bus stop chicane. But yeah, King, the timing boards have updated. He's less than a second now behind from P3.
Yeah, less than a second behind, and obviously starting to maybe just get that effect of the slipstream now might just help drag him on, and the lead trio looks like it could very quickly become a lead quartet then. Decent battle still going on further back. Diaz and Krebs has become on board with that. Diaz in the 555 car just running a bit wide. So the 169, we saw Krebs just getting a bit forced down the field earlier on in that McLaren. He's now slightly just been able to recover a bit, so he'll be pretty happy. Started in 13th place in the Dread Moment Racing car. They are now back up into 15th. And Krebs, Diaz is another one who's had a decent start to this race. That Butterpal car, 24th on the grid, gained 8 places so far, and I think they'll be hoping that they can gain another. As you can just see there on the left-hand side of the timing screen, there's the penalty for the 444 that has shown up with their time penalty that they have got at the moment. And yeah, the 370 currently being driven by Robert Alavi. We saw him get spun round earlier on. I think that one was the no further action. Must have been another incident that was caught off camera. That has given a penalty side by side this time. Second and third. Pive was the Hunter last time. This time he's the Hunter. Caracas also not able to get the move. And this has allowed Jardier to just break away by what looks to be around a second. It's very rare we've got over a timing mark with that gap being a second. So would be one to watch whether Pife, Caracas and now King can catch back up to the 869.
Absolutely. So just keeping an eye on that as King has really joined this 4-car group in the front. But like you said, Honzik has put the gap back to Pife. So Pife, as the 169 just went around at Lacombe. Who is that? The 169? That is the Desert, or no, I'm sorry, not Desert Penguin. That is the Daniel Krebs. The Dreham, yeah, Racing number 169 McLaren has gone round. So Krebs running in the points. I didn't catch what happened. I don't know if you have replay available, but it looks like Krebs, who was running in the point, maybe some contact that's just gone around at Lacombe and is now fallen out of the points.
Yeah, had only just passed Diaz, so that might have been a tiny bit of contact. And this train that we saw for 7th place then being led at the moment by the Forza Italia PLE Racing Ferrari with Lucian Puchnika behind the wheel. You can see it's gained a couple of extra members. Anderson right on the back of this at the moment. So a battle for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th place as York thinks about it at the outside of the bus stop. Don't think it was really far enough alongside for that one to work. We've got another car in that. I believe that is a lap car also getting involved in this battle. So Puchnika had a decent start to the race, has dropped down the field. Well, actually they did start in 6th place, so it's only dropped 1 position. Let's not forget they did gain a position when the Honda went spinning off at the top of the hill earlier on. But Puchnika, another car that is doing a really good defensive job at the moment, but I think this is actually one of the biggest gaps of the field. You can see now around 11 seconds off the back of Connor Wright in that number 57. So the front 6 with a bit of a gap at the moment, very wide from Tarasiok. Won't want to be doing that too often. Might get yourself getting a penalty for track limits, just ruin any chance they had at attacking York. There's some battles further down the field. Diaz trying to defend from Fang and Watson at the moment. Diaz in 15th, Fang Watson 16th and 17th, which is 3rd and 4th, I should say, in the battle at the moment for the class podium in silver. This has got a pretty good run at the top of the hill here by Watson, who should be able to get the inside line. Should be able to get this done nice and comfortably on the brakes end. Jordan Watson then in the 147. It is the World Snooker Championship at the moment, so perhaps a very fitting number from Jordan Watson. Gets himself onto a silver class podium into 16th.
Oh wow, there's a. It took me a minute to get that because that's the sport I haven't watched in a long while. But there you go, nicely done from Watson. Nonetheless, great to get the pass done and get up into the podium position for your class, right? Maybe not overall, but for your class. So top 3 for Watson in the 147. Nicely done. So gonna have to see if he can close this gap that's opened up a little bit to the car in front. Who is that in front? Is that Joey Diaz? I believe that's in front of him by a little bit. Maybe it looks to be just about maybe a second. Maybe when timing boards updates it. So, of course, Diaz has a gap that's opened up in front to Dormeyer, and then it's Denitzton in front, and Hawk as well. Denitzton trying to see if he can close this gap. He's shown a lot of pace in that 920 BMW. 3.2 seconds though in front. Is P11 or P12 for him, and then just trying to keep an eye as well on their leaders. It is a second gap that's opened up from Hansik to Pipe, and King has fallen off the back as well. He is now over a second behind Caracas, so maybe, just maybe, and I'm not going to knock on wood for this, as Strelnikov is in the pits, by the way. So pit stops, we're starting to see pit stops come in, but maybe, just maybe here, Luke. The fighting at the front has stopped for the time being. It's just Pipe and Caracas now within half a second of each other.
Yeah, Pamek, the first of the cars to make their way through the pits. Then York coming in the 58, Tarasiak coming in from the lead of that silver class as well. So, as we expected, around about the hour mark is when you start to see the pit lane. It is an incredibly long pit lane here. They enter where the more traditional pit entry is at the F1, have to make their way all the way down the start straight and all the way down to the pit lane along the run towards Eau Rouge. So quite a big pit loss time around this, quite a long pit lane compared to some of the others. We'll give you the timings when everything is sorted out from all of this pit stop period as we are approaching the end of our first hour. And as you said, King has just dropped back a bit at the moment. Darren King he's done a fantastic job to get up to the back of this pack, just not able to keep that pace up and staying on the back of these at the moment. And I'm interested to see what York and Tarasiak can do, or whoever takes over from them can do once they come out of the pits, because they are dropping down the field at the moment, but let's not forget they were really starting to put that 501 Ferrari under a lot of pressure. So it'll be interesting to see whether the fresh tyres proves to give them an advantage.
So the rounds of pit stops being completed. It's thrown a bit of the gaps in a spanner in the works in terms of monitoring these gaps. The closest one right now, aside from Pipe and Caracas up at the front, down at P11, Jordan Watson, the WP Racing 147 Ferrari. Got Joey Diaz less than a second behind him in the Butler Powell Motorsport 555 BMW, and Jay Fang in the J Team. The number 1 McLaren is all over the back of this 555. So the silver class car is not just content with P3 in his class. He wants to make a charge for this 147. Trying to get around the platinum class 555 of Joey Diaz first, and he's putting a lot of pressure on Joey Diaz. So down the bus stop chicane, not making a move just yet. We'll see if any of them dive into the pits. And yes, number 1, Fang is coming into the pit, so that is 3rd place in the silver class, diving into the pit lane.
Yeah, he's into the pits as well. We've got the 666 coming in. The Warburton's beeswax car with Martin Stein also in that McLaren coming in. It is now Darren King into the lead of this race. The front 3 follow their way into the pits. Linus Sternden, the Holzik, Pipe and Caracas. We'll see whether it is those same 3 leading us on the way out, and we'll see, of course, who does end up leading this once things calm down. It's been a very, very clean first hour, thankfully. No touch wood, we didn't see anything along the lines of Monza. Perhaps being a longer race, everyone's just realising they need to be a bit more conservative on their way through the field. But it is King in the lead at the moment. Right now in second, you'd expect these drivers to be in the next lap also. And then Prochika, Hack, Denitzin, Dormeyer, Watson, Diaz. And then we'll wait and see how the rest come out after their pit stop periods. But yeah, still in the pit at the moment. Honzik, Pipe and Caracas. We've also got another one of the McLarens making their way in as well. I believe that's Bogus in from the silver class, as they all now start making their way back out of the pits. And this is going to be pretty close between all of them. And are they going to come out in some free air, which is always ideally what you want to do. And on board with Honzik Looks like pretty much in the middle of a right old battle of cars here.
Caracas, by the way, coming out behind Pt1, and the KW has gone for the driver change.
Yeah, KW have gone for the driver change. It is the man who gave them the lead. Well, gave them the lead on the grid. It's the man who got them the 3 points on the Super Bowl yesterday. Maciej Malinovski now leading, well, now in the car for the KW side. I know Jordi is still trying to get over having COVID fairly recently, so I wonder whether they're just letting him have some sort of stints, especially at the start of this race, and let himself build into it, which might be a very interesting tactic indeed. And we'll see who wins out here, out of the driver who is fresh, Malinovski, or those that have got a bit more used to the track conditions in Pt1 and Caracas. And indeed, the front three cars have come into the pits. I think we'll be seeing some of these others coming as well. Yeah, Hack on their way in, also into the pit lane. So we'll soon be getting a bit of an idea of what the order is going to be like. It won't surprise me if we see the rest of these that have yet to pit come in. Let's not forget Benz has got a 15-second time penalty as well in the 444 Silver Class car to serve in his pit stop. But it is Malinovski in the net lead of this race from Pt1 and Caracas. We'll see whether Darren King's car, that 122 Mercedes, sorry, we'll see whether they've lost any time in all of this pit stop period as well.
Right, they're into the pits as well. Wright is into the pits, and then you've got Prochinka also well into the pits. Mid-stint is into the pits, so a lot of the middle of the pack in those points. Dormeyer coming in, Watson or Diaz, I believe, is coming in as well. So the middle of that pack is Mulholland and Penguin now coming in as well. So pretty much everybody in the front and in the points paying positions is lining up for the pit lane. Very busy at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to get pretty cramped into this Spa pit lane then, so I think it could well be Malinovski back into the lead of this race, because every single car ahead of them has come into the pits. There is, of course, that limit on the stint time, as you can see them all making their way past here. So Malinovski will be back towards the lead of this race. And Caracas a lot closer to Pt1 than Pt1 is onto the back of Malinovski. You can just see there that Mercedes, the Mercedes, sorry, coming out of the pit lane. That is now Olaf Sorchik in the GTWR RHE Academy. So they've also gone for a driver change and have just, by the looks of things, lost about a second or two, staying out longer on those older tyres. Maybe just costing them a tiny bit of time. But as you were at the front then, 869 from 213 from the 720 with a 122 trying to stay in contact in fourth.
Trying to stay in contact in fourth and really put themselves in a position to maybe try and pick up the podium place. We'll see if Solsyuk, Olaf Solsyuk, with the I probably butchered that name, so apologies, Luca. Being American, I just cannot get these right. But GTWR RHG Academy number 122 Mercedes, I should say. It's got quite a bit of a gap that's actually opened up between the front three. So it does look like the 122s come out worse for wear at the pit stops. Pt1, correct, is pretty much the gaps as you said, as you were at the start of the pit stops. But it does look like the 122s lost a little bit of time. So we'll see if Olaf here could try and close the gap if he can find the pace to do so. As the pit lane still very active, but mostly everybody now has run through this their pit stops. And I'll tell you what, who's come out really good, and that's the number 760 down in P11, Jacob Tarasiuk, the STMP number 760 McLaren, has pulled within 2 seconds of Bogus, the silver class leader now in P10.
Yeah, Bogus has managed to get the silver class lead in that. It looks like Tarasiuk and we've had the driver change also in the number 9 car. It is in the number 501. It is now Paweł Jaszewski driving that Forza Italia esports car. They've dropped back from Matt York, who's now in a net 7th place. We'll see how this battle continues on the way down towards the bus stop chicane at the moment, with our silver class leader in 10th place at the moment. Can they manage to work his way up into 9th? Looks like they are just a bit too far behind at this moment in time. So we will, as Jean Pawlowski goes a bit deep there into the bus stop, and that might be the opportunity that Bogus needs to get a much better exit. He's going to have to go the long way round at La Source. This might not work, but if you can get a good cutback, there's always a good opportunity to get the run down the hill. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case, though. Jabowski sticks religiously to that inside line And it is now a straight drag race. McLaren power versus Ferrari power. Which one of these is going to come out on top down towards Eau Rouge? They're still going to be side by side here. This is going to be very brave. And Joe Bowski, I think, realising that something had to give. He was the car behind. Gives up that 9th place on track. In doing so, though, he's put himself under a lot of pressure from Jakob Tarasiak. And there we go. That's that McLaren back up into the top 10. So the 2 silver class cars putting the Ferrari under some serious pressure here. Can Joe Bowski hang on? No, he cannot. So 51 and 760. 1-2 in silver class. Getting themselves up to 9-10 overall. But we do get our timetable up to see how things are looking at the end of the first hour and 8 minutes of racing. And it is the 869 still in the lead by 1.5 seconds from Pt1 driving the 213 Race Anywhere car. And that's 720, the Beaver Grease McLaren. As they have been all race, those front 3 extremely close together.
Yes, but Malinowski looks like he's putting a little bit of time between Pt1 and himself. Caracas here trying to catch Pt1. So as Caracas tries to fight for P2 back, Malinowski is going to be free to absolutely launch himself further up the field. The number 122 Mercedes, by the way, has lost a lot of time. Is completely out of this top 3 fight. Now 7.5 seconds behind, and it could be bringing in this number 8 McLaren and Yus Parek into the equation here, because 1.17 seconds now separates the P4 from P5. So definitely one to keep an eye on as well. Other battles just to make note of real quickly is Dormeyer and Arts for P14. Looking pretty close as well, but those are your closest gaps really in the top 25.
Yeah, really close at the moment, those gaps. You see Parek has really caught up to Torchuk. Was the first driver to come into the pits out of definitely out of the lead pack, out of those towards the top 10, and that just seems to have given him a bit more confidence. Got these tyres up to temperature, but it's not looking great for the 1-2-2. 2:20 last time around. Rest of the cars in the top 5 are doing 2:18, so Torchuk just struggling at the moment. Whether that's going to be the case throughout the entire stint, we'll have to wait and see, but they'll definitely be hoping in the RHG Mercedes, and that is not going to be the case. And still Caracas all over the back of Pt1. Malinowski definitely putting a bit more of a breakaway. I think realising this could be an opportunity to maybe just build that gap up. Obviously, not giving Pt1 the slipstream will put Pt1 under a bit more pressure. And the 869 is on to take the championship lead. 4 weeks' time will be the final race of the season here in the Endurance Championship. And that's a reminder for me that I need to get myself buying some of the DLC, because it is going to be an 8-hour race around Laguna Seca. So make sure to check that out in a few weeks' time. And of course, the rest of the action, we've got F1 on Sundays from the PC League, and also AOR in the BMW M2 racing, which has just been introduced. That is on a Tuesday evening. Malinowski still leading, Pt1 in second, Caracas in 3rd place, not able to do anything about the 213 at the moment. And Parek, he's really caught up to the back of this 1-2-2, really starting to get held up now.
Yeah, absolutely. So loving, by the way, the fact that we're racing at Laguna Seca. Such a great track, such a fantastic track. I'll tell you what's very close, and that's Solsyuk and Parek. That gap did not last very long at all. Parek has just got so much pace compared to this 122 that seems to just really be struggling. I mean, Solsyuk is putting in 2-minute 20s here, where everyone else around him is putting in 2-minute 19s at least. Around the outside of the bus stop chicane, I don't think it's there for Parek. Maybe on the cutback to the second part of the chicane, I spoke too soon. Parek trying to just finalize the move. He's going to have to do it around the outside of the source. They go side by side. And we'll see if Parek can get the move done. He's going to take the wider line. Maybe the switchback is in tone here. But as of right now, no. Is he going to go for the move down towards Eau Rouge? I mean, he's right on the tail end. He's going to have to stick it towards the side here. And he just cuts back. Maybe going up the source. This is very heated battle. Just running wide. Was there contact? I did not see. But it looks like Solsyuk ran pretty wide there at Radillion, and now it's causing Parek to put the blinkers on, to put the flashers on, and now he's going for the move around the outside of Lacombe. Is he going to have it on the switchback, the second part? No. This number 8 still not found a way past the 122.
And because he's not found a way, you can just see there the 57 starting to get back involved in this as well, so they're fighting their way up the field. There's some pretty good battles going on for what are the final points positions overall, as we say that, catching that just in time to see Stronikov trying to work the way down the inside of Pedro Vieira, and has done so. So Stronikov ahead of the 666 Silver class McLaren. These two cars were battling earlier on. It was a different driver in that 666, and we'll see whether Stronikov can work his way past Wojciech Ratajczak as well in that 101 BMW. At the moment, Stronikov in the Crazy Fire 45, getting a good run up the hill. Straight away, you can see the 101 BMW having to go defensive, having to try and break that toe. We've not seen many moves be done around the outside at Lacombe. Is that going to change this time? Very late on the brakes from the pair of them. But the BMW, that 101 car, just managing to keep hold of 19th place at the moment. So a good race from the Silver Racing Team 40 from the 101 car, because they had some issues in qualifying and weren't able to get all their drivers to take part. They did start way down in 46 and have now worked their way up into 19th. So definitely showing some good pace. Talking of showing some good pace, fastest lap of the race last time around was our race leader, Maciej Malinowski. As we'll see whether Stronikov, outside of Pujon, probably not going to work, and wisely decides to back off.
Parrott going for it again, by the way, on a run down to the source. This is where there's just a lot of weaving going on. Just Parrott here. It's a really tight inside line from Solskjaer. So Parrott, I think, is going to have the better run out the corner. We'll see if he does. They're going side by side down towards Eau Rouge. Parrott trying to finally stick this move up Radillion, and Parrott this time running a little bit wide, and the 122 still maintains the position. But Connor Wright is here, and Wright is just going to eat up absolutely both drivers. Connor Wright, talk about opportunities and striking when the iron's hot. Solskjaer and Parrott they go side by side 2 laps in a row through Eau Rouge and Radillion. Luke, they each run wide on different laps, and Connor Wright is there to take full advantage. The Van Wall Sim Sport number 57 BMW P4 now for him.
Yeah, just Parrott must be absolutely fuming under his helmet. Just a couple of times, both himself and Solskjaer, I think, just getting caught out in a bit of a dirty air from the Mercedes, and that's allowed the number 8 to just run wide. And Connor Wright, as you said, really the big winner out of all that one. 15 seconds. The gap back now from the front 3 to these next cars. We saw how close they were earlier on when King was driving in that number 122. It's definitely not working out for Solskjaer at the moment. The Mercedes 122 will definitely be hoping he can pick up the pace. Talking of picking up the pace, Karekas has managed to get a move done then on P3. They're just starting to negotiate some of this lap traffic then at the moment, are the leaders. Now, it looks like Malinovsky's been able to break away in all of that, and it looks like Karekas has been able to take advantage of that to work into second place. So the 720 Beaver Grease Lithuania car has now got ahead of the 213 race anywhere. Ferrari is still at 869 Kick W leading this race. As Perek again all over the back of Solskjaer, side by side through Blanchimont, both of them going extremely far off the track there. This one could get a bit nasty if the move doesn't get done soon, and that is Perek down the inside line into the bus stop. Little tap from the Mercedes, and that is Perek sent round. Judging from what we've seen over the last few laps, you just get a feeling there was a bit of inevitability that there would be some contact. Can't imagine Perek's going to be too happy with that one.
No, I can imagine we'll be hearing from the stewards later on that one, and you're absolutely right. Judging by how wide they were both running out of Radillion into the Camel Straight, and just how intense the fighting was, you felt like it was only a matter of time between these two getting contact. Perek thankfully doesn't lose any positions for it, but he's lost a lot of time, and he'll have a lot of clean air to try and catch up that time. But nonetheless, it's going to be the 122 probably bearing the brunt of that, I would say. You know, I'll be impartial and say we don't really know, but still, it's not looking good. I'll put it that way. So definitely the stewards will be taking a look at that later. Meanwhile, by the way, Jarzabowski, the 501 Forza Italia PLE Racing Ferrari, down to P16. He's not at a good stint out of the pits. Ludwig's is still ahead in the Lamborghini. To see the Lamborghini represented here. Same with the Porsche, although the Porsche not doing all too hot. I believe it's sitting in the pits right now. Yeah, Sam's. They just had a driver change on the Porsche, but yeah, nonetheless, Jarzabowski trying to see if he can get this moved on Ludwig's, but in the meantime, he's got to defend from Nigel Arts in the Butler Powell Motorsport BMW number 555. Looked like they might have banged doors there, but the 555 is through up into P16.
Yeah, Bubbins racing between those two, and Nigel Arts does get that move done. Looking at Jarzabowski's time, doesn't look like it's been one massive mistake. It just looks as though the pace is not there for Jarzabowski. It was 2:23 last lap around, 2:20s for some of the cars ahead of them. Yeah, that is not going to get the job done. There has been some more things in race control. There was an incident between the car number 45 and the 12 that did get judged earlier on, so no further action with that. There was also some incident between the 808, that is Toninsky at the moment, and the 101 currently being driven by Ratachak, who is in the point, so that might be one to watch out. Stewart's just waiting for a bit more footage on that, so we'll keep an eye on how things going with all of that. Stronikov just dropping outside the point, seems to have been on the edge of the points for the entire race, and just ahead of him now is the number 9 car, the Modulo Drago Corsa, who did start quite high up the field, but it seems like the Hondas may have had good qualifying sessions. It's definitely not gone ideal for them in the race. Did start in the top 10, this number 9 Drago Corsa car. They are back into the points though in 20th. The next target will be the aforementioned 101 BMW.
Yeah, just 3/10 up the road. So Alvarado looking maybe to get a pass done here on Ratchetiak. We'll see, as Alvarado here looks to have a good run. He's starting to look towards the inside maybe, and eventually just backs out of it. Doesn't have the space down to the bus stop chicane, so we'll see if he goes for a move either into La Source or down towards Lacombe.
Yeah, we'll wait and see on that one. Someone who has gone for a move, but we just missed off camera. P-Phase managed to get back ahead of Karekas. They are still dropping back behind Malinovsky though. That gap is now 2 seconds between the 869 and the 213 Ferraris at the front. So Malinovsky for KW starting to build a gap, still early stages, but as things stand, they would take the lead of the championship with their second win of the season. All over the back then of the 101 is this Honda at the moment, really starting to wake things up. The sun's starting to come out a bit more here at Spa-Francorchamps. Air temperature and track temperature just rising that tiny bit round the outside. Alvarado's going to have to try it into Lacombe here. The 101 has just stayed far enough ahead to make sure of that one. The Stronikov almost taking advantage, just running wide. A bit of a light flash, a bit of a distraction there from Alvarado to try to make things happen. Back towards what's happening in Silver Class. We've not spoken about them too much at the moment. Matthias Bogus taking the lead for the 51 Victoria Secret car in the pit stop period, and has managed to hold on to that lead in that class. For 760 then of Tarasiuk is now in 10th overall, second in the class, and it is Watson in the number 147 car in the WB Racing Ferrari. They are third in the Silver Class. Fastest lap around last time, fastest lap of the race we've seen so far from Fabian Pife, as he looks to build that gap down on Malinovsky. Just blue flags for that BMW up ahead. Won't mind getting a tiny bit of a slipstream here though.
No, he definitely will take it. Definitely will take it. And Malinovsky, we'll see if he can maintain this gap, because Pife, much to his credit, has shown a lot of pace here in this opening 2 stints that he is running. Now the 218.1 is the fastest lap. That's really, really good pace, and been a very good performance so far from Pife up into P2, and showing a very solid pace.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these front three have been the class of the field throughout the entire race. Really, from the first couple of laps, they've been able to break away, and they are still breaking away from those cars that are further back. Connor Wright was a second and a half slower than the lead 2. He was about the same pace as Karekas, who did get overtaken on the previous lap. But you can just see now that Wright's got ahead of Shawshock, he's really just able to keep things consistent at the moment in that number 57 BMW. Those two dominated the latter part of the race last time out at Monza. Once they were able to get into a 1-2, it was the number 58 who took the victory there. 57 taking second place, the only car to have podiums in both of the races. And that's why they're leading at the championship. They want to stick in the lead. They're going to need something to happen in the final 10 hours and 38 minutes. Still a long way to go as we've got a yellow flag, and that is the 45, who's had a moment up the top of the hill at Radion.
Yeah, that's Strelnikov as well. He's fallen down the order, and now out of the points once again is Strelnikov. I'm trying to look at where he is. He's down to P25 now, and he's got the silver class car, Alexander Rumyanstev, just all over the back of him now, and the Good Smile Racing number 176 Mercedes, and then right behind him is Gadzela, the Simulation Esport GT3 M4 number 28 BMW. So Strelnikov looks like he's gone for a spin. I'm looking for damage. I can't tell if it's part of the livery, if it's dirt, if it's damaged. I don't see anything huge on the car in terms of damage, but yeah, Strelnikov losing out of the points off that mistake. I wanted to say that the pace from Connor Wright's been very good, but he is losing time still. So that gap was 15.1. It's now 17.8. So Caracas in front, still quicker, and still that gap between third and fourth wide.
Yeah, the gap's still extending at the moment. The car in 25th at the moment, the 176, not having the success that they had last time in the silver class. 9th in the class at the moment. Didn't finish in the first race, but did win the silver category last time I called round, and I think it was Rumyanstev who put in some fantastic performances, so maybe we'll just be able to drag them further up the field. Hello to everyone that is joining us for this 12 hours of sport. Round number 3 of the second season at the AOR ACC Endurance Championship. One more to go. The 8 hours of Laguna Seca will be the next race. Something that might get interesting soon, that we're going to have to watch out for, is this car. The number 8, Just Perek, had that contact earlier on with the 122 R8G AMG Mercedes, currently driven by Sorchik, and he's just starting to reel him in slightly. He's got that gap back to around 3 seconds, but this is going to be one to watch later on. I'm sure he'll be hoping for maybe a bit of a cleaner move than he managed last time. Other interesting battles that are happening further back. Putting in some good paces, Bogush, at the moment. He's now starting to catch up the number 12 Race Anywhere Aston Martin for 8th place. Really starting to keep things nice and clean, nice and calm at the moment then. So, just setting off. Malinovsky in the lead of this race. Pivet in second at the moment. Krekas in third. Those front three have been fighting hard. This is always what makes it awkward. As you can see, we've got a bit of traffic. We've got the Bentley-ton, as I like to call it. Absolutely fantastic livery, if I do say so myself, on that Bentley there, looking resplendent in the green, blue, yellow and red. Not everyone's cup of tea, but definitely I think one of my favourites on the field. Always admiring the different works that other drivers manage to do. Hopefully it won't cause any problems there. Will the number 87 car for our race leader, down in 43rd and the penultimate place at the moment in the CERT Motorsport car. Still in last is LukecEtheridge in that 199 car. Obviously, this Honda a bit out of sync with everyone else in terms of the pit stops after that massive crash on the run up towards Eau Rouge and Radion earlier on, having quite a big impact for them. Be interesting to see how far they can recover up throughout the field. Still got some battles going further down. Final points position. Pedro Vieira, I think, has dropped back on this one. Was all over the back of Wojciech Vaciak not too far ago for 20th and 21st. 666 versus for 24. Gustav Aurora, another car for 24, we saw having a spin earlier on. They're trying to recover their way back up into the points. Let's follow Aurora on board, as I've just noticed something which is very interesting, and I'm sure a lot of you guys at home have noticed it as well. 30 minutes time, looks like we're going to get some rain. Falling around the pit stop period is going to make this intriguing to see if anyone can stretch their pit stop stint out enough until the rain comes. Otherwise, we might have a short splash and dash for the drivers not to do too long of a pit stop and not to carry too much fuel before we do get our first hit of rain at Spa-Francorchamps. I think we're all surprised that we've got 2 hours through this race before we get any hit of rain whatsoever. Aurora all over the back of Vieira. 24 Ferrari versus 666 McLaren. Which one of these is going to come out ahead? The battle for the final points position overall. Down the inside goes Aurora into Lacombe. A very clean move indeed then by Gaurav Aurora. Takes 20th position. Some battles further up that are starting to get close. Dormeyer works his way back up into 13th. Now starting to come under pressure from the 147 Ferrari. Looking back then on the run into the campus chicane then from Andreas Dormeyer, 13th place at the moment. One of the cars not to do a change in their pit stop period. Out of the leaders, there was not too many really. Obviously, the 869 car driven by Malinovsky, they did their change. We saw Shortchuck get into the Mercedes, and it doesn't look like that change has worked out. He is dropping back still a bit at the moment from Connor Wright. Still closer pace to what we've seen earlier on. He's now able to get consistently into the 220s, but the cars around them are doing the 219. So the 122 car, that's AMG, which is, I believe, let's just quickly check because I realised I couldn't make a massive fool of myself. I believe that AMG, haven't really seen too much of it so far this season at this moment in time. They are doing a great job at the moment to get themselves up as, oh, that's an interesting one. We've just seen it come up there, and I think we were kind of expecting that after what happened earlier on. There has been a time penalty, and it is for the 122. That little, we saw that tiny bit of contact earlier into the bus stop chicane. 5-second penalty. They're all coming through as well. Chico in the 169 has a 10-second penalty for a collision with the 95 while trying to lap them earlier on. It's 15 seconds for the 176. 5 seconds for the 22. And this is a big one. This could have a big say in this race. Maciej Malinovsky, 869, a 5-second penalty for that contact earlier on with Fabian Pife. So I think that was when Yardier was driving the car. So that is a 5-second penalty for our race leader. They've now got to try and break the hammer down. That will get served at the pit stops. It's going to be a very intriguing pit stop. A few more penalties starting to come in at this moment in time.
Tell you what's also starting to come in. I'm reconnecting. So yes, it was internet just cut out. Sorry, but yes, it is 5 penalties that come through. Not a lot of license points, just the one given to the 176 for that incident with the 22. But yeah, a few more time penalties to be served here for the upcoming pit stops. It'll make this race very intriguing, and there's still 10 hours plus to go. So a lot of time left for drivers to not only recover from these positions, but also to wind up making more mistakes.
Yeah, you can see Malinovsky, I think, trying to just get the hammer down at the moment. Almost identical lap time to Pife. They'll have seen that penalty, so Pife and Kavekos know if they can just work hard at the moment and try to catch up, they've got a chance of taking the lead at the pit stop, where we are expecting the clouds to come over a bit more and maybe just a tiny bit of rain start hitting this Spa-Francorchamps circuit at that moment in time, as Malinovsky expertly trying to work his way through the traffic at the moment. I think we're going to see that battle renew between 5th and 6th at the moment. Doesn't need to get the move done. There's just Perek in the number 8 flying the Estonian's McLaren. I'm sure he'll be determined to. I'm sure he'll be feeling a bit aggrieved after what happened, because let's not forget, before that move, these two were pretty comfortably ahead of Connor Wright. Connor Wright is now around 10 seconds up the road from these two. It just shows how cool it can be in endurance racing. It looked like Perek definitely had the pace in this stint, just wasn't able to get ahead of Shawshock. Wright was able to do, and then there was the contact, and you'd have to say if it wasn't for that, Perek could probably be in 4th place. Now they're starting to lose out to Matt York and Bogus, also closing in behind.
Yeah, and the pace of 2:19.5 is okay, but towards the front you're going to want to find a little bit more. It's still also a 2:19.5, by the way, for Connor Wright, so that's pretty much right on pace. He's not going to gain any time. Caracas is down in the 2:18s. He did a 2:18.6 his previous lap. Malinowski in the 2:18.4 in his previous lap. Pife with also a 2:18.4. So the 2:19.5 from Perek is just enough to keep pace with Connor Wright, but he wants to catch him. He wants to be able to pass Solchik and catch this BMW number 57. And it is in P4, but Tarek's going to have to try and get the move done. It's he lost a lot of time getting spun around by the 122. He's gained it all back. He's back. He's ready for more. Hopefully not for another spin. Hopefully more, meaning not another spin, but more in terms of battling. And with Shawshock in the 5-second penalty, he just wants to be able to put this Mercedes in the rear view mirror, really, and be able to try to start the run down to P4. He's going to go for the move. It looks like down the inside towards the bus stop chicane. This is where he got hit last time. This time, much cleaner. Parrot gets the move done. It stucks the Flying Estonians up into P number 5.
Yeah, Parrot then for Flying Estonians, making that move work. More conventional one down the inside, and that definitely proved to be the case there. Things are really closing up here. You can see Karekas got all over the back of Pife. It looks like these two are struggling a bit more with traffic than Malinovsky, which is not normally what you see. It's normally the first car wakes up the traffic, and then you're looking for the blue flags once you've been overtaken by that first one. But Karekas and Pife are nearly actually outside of that all-important 5-second mark. So Malinovsky doing well to recover from that 5-second penalty. Battles that are going on further down the field. Jordan Watson still fighting all over the back of Dormeyer at the moment. Still in that 3rd place in the silver class. Has pulled away a 6-second gap ahead of Ludwig's in the 969, the sole Lamborghini in this race. And we might just see popping into view at the top of our screen there. Looks like Watson's got a good run coming through La Source, which has been common on occasion. It's all about how close can you stay, though, through Eau Rouge and Radion. That BMW just able to ride the curves that tiny bit better, allowing Dormeyer in the 5 to take that slightly shorter line through there. Watson, I think, deciding...
Matt York is off. The number 58 BMW, by the way, is off. Beg your pardon for interrupting, Luke, but one of the top 10 cars, Matt York, is looking like he's got a bit of trouble. He is off at La Source, and he still hasn't gotten going.
Yeah, still not going. It looks like that car's more pulled out of the way than an incident at the moment. So whether Matt York has had some disconnection, had some technical issues, but this is very cruel for the number 58 car, who is still in this championship battle. Unless you're on board with it, all you can hear is the sound of silence from Matt York, dropping outside of the points. Disastrous news for them. Further up the field, there has been that change. Well, hasn't been a change, because P-Face trying to go down the inside back at Caracas here. These two really fighting hard. The 720 just getting forced wide by the 213. So that is Caracas back down into 3rd place, all over the back of Fabian Pife. Let's see how it goes on the run up the hill through Eau Rouge and Radion. Pife able to ride the curves a bit better. Caracas, though, doesn't look like he's lost too much out of that one. There's still that yellow flag coming into Lacombe, which might just ruin any possibility of a move. We'll see where that yellow flag is from the marshal post. You are able to get the move done down the inside, it looks like. And there we go, Karekas back up into 2nd place, but these two battling has allowed Malinovsky to just break away. And it looks like, just trying to see where Matt York is at the moment, just trying to see whether he has managed to get back moving.
He's got going, yes.
All the way down in 29th position.
A disaster, recoverable from the 58, but that is going to be, I mean, now he's almost a complete lap down to the 869, who is just coming around Pouhon right now. So you got to think that Matt York is going to be really disappointed. I mean, he's right in front of the leaders. I mean, the leaders just staring him down right now. So yeah, almost a lap down. Disaster for that Vanwall Sim Sports team. It's so unfortunate for them. I mean, I believe really, I don't want to say the championship aspirations are dead and buried here. There's still plenty of time left in this race, Luke. I mean, but by all means, but it's certainly going to be the hard road that's taken here by this team if they're going to get back into contention with it.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, who's to say misfortune will befall 869 Ferrari leading this race and the 57, the other Vanwall Sim Sport BMW. We hope it doesn't, obviously. We hope things stay nice and clean for all of the drivers. But yeah, so cruel for Matt York, who is now going to find himself a lap down when it looked like he was starting to close up to the back of Shawshook and maybe even getting himself into the top 6 in this race. We saw plenty of battling earlier on between Watson and Dormeyer. In the end, Watson has managed to get that move done. So that is now 12th place for the silver class car. 3 silver class cars in the top 12, 2 inside the top 9. So they are doing a very respectable job at the moment, and it could be 1 soon inside the top 6 as Bogush in that Victoria's Secret. He's just starting to close in, obviously, on Shawshook by about a second a lap. It really does not seem like Olaf Shawshook is enjoying this Mercedes. Whether that is just a pure pace thing, whether that is a setup thing, because that's the other. the other idiosyncrasies of endurance racing, you're probably going to be driving in a slightly compromised setup. It's very likely that what suits one driver, it's very unlikely that it's going to suit all of them.
Yeah, which makes it just really just a joy. Endurance racing being an absolute joy. So the other thing to note, York has been passed, by the way, by the leader, so he is officially a lap down now. Pife, by the way, all over the back of Caracas. They come in towards No Name Quarter and they run down towards Pujon. So let's see if Pife is going to challenge yet again for P2. It hasn't hurt their positioning, unlike previously when they were being challenged from 4th place. Connor Wright still 21 seconds off of P3, so not really any threat to being caught here by these two. The only real threat is losing the leader even further, which is 6 seconds up the road from Caracas. So quite a large gap between the leader and P2 now, as just trying to keep an eye on these cars. They've spread out quite a bit here, Luke. So they're not really the delta between these cars is not as close as it used to be. Dykes, is it I don't know how do you say that? The 920 number BMW. That is Gleb. Is it Discar? And the Armamentarios getting off racing. Feel free to correct me at any moment in time, or just let me sound like a fool. But Watson and Dormeyer, that's like the closest battle we've got, really, between also Arts and Penguins, by the way, but that's between the Platinum and the Silver class cars. Those are your closest battles in the top 20 so far. So this field is getting very far spread out. We often talk about a little bit of a lull that sometimes hits endurance races. We could be hitting that in the next hour. Certainly the pit stops, which are about 20 minutes away here, Luke, could change things up again.
Yeah, the lull might just be struck off by what was looking like light rain earlier, as mentioned by Daniel B in the chat. Spa weather for the win. That doesn't look like light rain anymore. It looks like we are going to get some proper Spa weather. I did, on a school trip, drive past the Spa Francorchamps circuit once. Won't be surprised to see I didn't see much of it. It was absolutely teeming it down with rain at the time, so definitely living up to its reputation. It does look like the number 920 of Zygar is just struggling at the moment, just starting to fall back into the clutches of Jordan Watson, who stuck in through that first stint, has stuck up and managed to really start building their way up through the field. So on board with Jordan Watson in the 147 WB racing car in the silver class. Just check how they're doing in the championship at the moment, because I don't think we've actually seen too much from this Ferrari so far this season. So this is good performance. Might be an opportunity to get their first podium. Might be an opportunity to get a top 10 as well in the race overall. That is only 6 seconds up the road at the moment to Dijkstra in the 48. Justin Dijkstra in that 48 Aston Martin, currently in 10th place at the moment. Here comes Watson though. 147 versus the 920. Ferrari power versus BMW power, and it looks like a much better run up the hill. Very nice indeed. Very straightforward from Jordan Watson. I bet he wishes all his overtakes were as simple as that. The Ferrari climbs into 11th, and Dormeyer will be the next person trying to work their way past the 920.
Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic move from the 147. And now, like you said, Dormeyer might start looking at closing the rest of this gap up to that 920. So solid move. Silver class car up into P11. Love to see the silver class cars fighting into the top 10 overall in this race, and we'll see if Dormeyer can indeed close that gap. It says 1.4. I'd imagine it's a little bit closer. I imagine it's like 0.7, maybe 0.6 once the timing boards update. So we'll see if that's the case. It looks like Dormeyer is gaining quite a bit on the 920. So the pace might be there for Andreas Dormeyer to get this move done in the coming laps. Might not be this lap. Certainly in the coming laps, Dormeyer, 0.3 now, the gap. The timing board just updating. So Dormeyer really closing it, and running wide is the 920. Round wide out of Stablo, and we'll see if Dormeyer can take advantage on a run down towards the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, so this is definitely a great opportunity then for the number 5 car. Andreas Dormeyer behind the wheel at the moment. Can he work his way past the 920? Too far back into bus stop chicane. And again, just running a bit deep there was Ziga. Oh, gets into the back. Does Dormeyer. A tiny bit of bumper-to-bumper contact there. Didn't seem to really affect the 920 too much, but this could be the possibility for Dormeyer. Down the inside into La Source. Definitely pulled out of the slipstream again. I think just more of a reminder, in case he needed an extra one after getting bumped in the back through bus stop, that the number 5 is all over the back of him. But definitely seems to have the pace as Dormeyer at the moment on this car, and we'll be hoping to get the move done soon, just to avoid Watson getting too far away. See who gets the better one through Eau Rouge and Radion. It looks like Dormeyer through Eau Rouge definitely able to take a lot more curb, even though he has just dropped an extra car length or two behind. Zaga just sticking to the middle of the road for a bit there, trying to make sure he can react to any possible move. And in the end, Dormeyer just having to stick back for now. Back towards the front though, Maciej Malinowski really starting to put the hammer down. Only one of the few drivers who's been in the 218s consistently. And you can see there's built that gap up to 7 seconds, comfortably covering that penalty off.
Very much so. Very much comfortably cutting the penalty off. Still keeping an eye. I want to keep an eye as well on Pife, who looks to really be challenging for P2 again, or getting ready to at least. But still keeping an eye on Dormeyer, who's closed the gap down to 2.5 seconds. It looks like it's just widened a little bit here on the exit to Pujon, but we'll see. Dormeyer trying to line up the move as well. Again, Penguin and Arts is the other one to keep an eye on. It looks like Penguin's found the pace here. The number 16 McLaren to just break away from Arts a little bit more. And so number 16 McLaren trying to chase down Ludwigs, who is 3.3 seconds up the road as well.
Yeah, still keeping an eye on all of these battles, of course. Pife not able to get close to Quebecas. Well, close enough that time around. Likewise with the number 5 on the 920. So we are in that period. Things just settling down. Pit stop period due any minute now. And as you can also see, rain due not too far away either. In the next 10 to 30 minutes, it's going to start getting very wet around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. And that's going to obviously have a big determination with the pit stops. They'll be hoping it comes sooner rather than later, so they don't have to do a very short, annoying stint, because extra pit stops is just opportunities for things to go wrong. On the other hand, at least you'll be experiencing the rain on a fresh set of dry tyres, rather than one which is extremely worn and near the end of its life. Silver class leader then, Matthias Mogos in the 51 McLaren. He's now really starting to put Olaf Shawshock under some pressure, given how quickly he's caught up. You know, talking a second a lap roughly. You'd imagine this won't be too difficult, but we've already seen from Shawshock, he's not afraid of getting his elbows out when it comes to defending this place.
No, not at all. And it's 0.8 the difference between the Victoria's Secret number 51 McLaren and Olaf Solskjaer in the GTWR RHE Academy number 122 Mercedes. Bogus looking for just trying to find this the right opportunity to get the pass done, because you see these cars, by the way, Luke, a lot of these cars, see how powerful the slipstream is, but the moment they step outside of it, the car just absolutely just fades away from the overtake. Very hard for some of these cars to get these overtakes done, although we've seen plenty of it. And Bogus would love to add another one to the race tally here as he tries to stay close, stay pinned to this 122 on the run down to the bus stop chicane. We will see. There looks like it's a little bit of a better run out the corner. Bogus is trying to go for the side-by-side move. They're going into Blanchemont. He's on the outside of Blanchemont, though. And he's got it done. He got it done around the outside at Blanchemont. That's pretty fantastic stuff. It looks like Solskjaer has just lost the accelerator a little bit. But the number 51, the silver class leader, up in the P6 now.
Yeah, great move there, and you can see there, Shawshock making quite a big mistake at the entry and at the exit of the bus stop, so it might not be too long before Marcus Lovens, we've not spoke about for a moment, the number 12 Aston Martin, lead Aston in this race. He's currently sitting in 7th place, you could say, with that penalty. Him and Tarashuk trying to drag their way onto the back of that Mercedes, who could be plummeting down the order very soon indeed. Malinowski is still breaking away. He's got that gap up to nearly 8 seconds. It has been a superb stint from the winner of Super Bowl yesterday. He's got the pace over 1 lap clearly proving here that he's got that race pace as well. And Pt1 has just had to sit behind Quebecers for the last few laps. And you can now visibly see, even with the weather on the top, and from what we're seeing on the screen, it's getting a lot cloudier here.
Getting a lot cloudier, and I haven't seen the temperature start to dip, but we might soon as well. And I think the drivers are hoping that this rain comes maybe just like 8, 9, 10 minutes away. You can kind of try to see if you pit early, and maybe just go onto the wets early, or certainly not, like you said, have to have a really short dry stint. Just absolutely throws a wrench in the works. So the rain is going to continue straight through for 30 minutes. So, you know, it's light rain, then heavy rain, then light rain again. So it's looking like it's going to be an extended period of wet weather here at Spa. Who would have thought? I said it was coming, and Luke, we're finally going to get it.
Yeah, I think we all knew at some point we were going to get it. I can tell you the practice sessions that we were seeing earlier on before the server got reset to allow the race to start, it was torrential rain around there. But I think the drivers are pretty glad that we haven't seen that weather at the moment. Who knows, we might not be too far away from seeing that. Probably not too far away from seeing drivers coming into the pits as well. Looking back from Caracas, the gap to the leader is now 8 seconds between the 869 and the 720. As Pt1 in that 213 again, just trying everything to close up the hill towards Lacombe. And this could be the closest we've seen Pt1 being able to get that McLaren, though. Quite a slippery car in a straight line. Just seems to be able to hold it on for now. These two, again, just dropping back a tenth or two a lap. Still looking pretty clear of Connor Wright, who's just making his way up Eau Rouge and Radion now. That gap looking at the moment more like it is 25 seconds. So the front three still looking very comfortable in that front three. As there we just see one of the, I think that's another BMW, just very politely letting these two out of the way. Further down, Dormeyer was able to get ahead of Kaleb, so that is now Dormeyer up into 12th place. He'll be trying to close his way back up onto Watson.
Trying to, close his way back up to Watson, like you said. So just keeping an eye on a few. I was taking a look at a few of the back markers. Actually, they're quite tight. Some of those gaps in the lower half of the field as well, but the other one that is very tight is and has been all race really is Pt1 and mainly just the top two, Pt1 and Caracas. So we'll see if Pt1 can get the move done, and Caracas, he's been following Caracas quite a while. He runs a little bit wide, Pt1 out of Stavlo, and yeah, Caracas trying to. I guess that's where they comfortably have been settling in, right? Is Caracas in second, Pt1 very close behind, but not close enough to be able to contest for the move.
Yeah, that seems to have been the story of the last few laps. Pt1 looks as though he gets close, just needs to maybe be a car length closer at some point, and I think we'd have seen him possibly go for a move. Where there has been some battles a bit further down, we see here Erskimel, the person who helps with the arranging of all of these AOR events. He's not too bad at driving at the moment. He's just dropped behind Christian Steinhauser on the last lap as well. This battle for 28th and 29th. So a bit far down the field at the moment. They'll be hoping to work their way up the points. So here we come again. Pt1 and Caracas. And in fact, that last lap around, half a second faster than Malinowski. So maybe Malinowski just getting held up with a bit of traffic. Maybe a slight mistake, but that gap's starting to come down.
Remind me to come back to Erskimel, by the way. Yeah, I'm taking a look at Pt1, and can he get the move done is the question. It doesn't look like it. Caracas still going to hold on for now. Pt1, I think it's just the slipstream. I think the moment you kind of step outside the slipstream, the car just meets too much. Maybe it's wind resistance, and it just kind of really fades off as Ivanov tries to get out of the way of these two here. Does a good enough job of doing so, and so Pt1 here trying to stay close around. No name they go down towards Pouhon, and are they going to be able to find just enough of? No, I think that the next closest they'll be, at least for Pt1 now, is maybe down towards Blanchimont and into the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, I think that'll definitely be... We've not seen too many moves work there around the outside. We saw, obviously, Pavic make it work on the inside, but whether Whether Karekas can just hold on this time from Pife, we'll have to wait and see. Back towards Erskabal, then it looks like Rolling Thunder's trying to close in as well. 999 versus 444. This battle in the silver class. We've also got Kiki Mack in the 177 Aston Martin as well. So 29th, 30th and 31st starting to get close together. Just fighting for pride at the moment, but you never know what this could be at the end.
Yeah, the point I wanted to make about Erskabal is it's a lovely color scheme on that car. Fantastic stuff. I love that color scheme on that Goat Racing number 2 999 BMW. And that's just such a nice blue, red, white, and blue. Maybe my American is showing, by the way. Matt York, by the way, in the number 58. Remember, he had that disaster. He's still running P26 now. He's just gotten by, it looks like, Igor 55 in the Victoria's Secret BMW number 55. So Matt York up another position into P26. So trying to fight his way back up the field after being stalled out for almost an entire lap at Lecombe. So well done to him. A lot more certainly to go, as one battle that is starting to heat up as well towards the top half is Desert Penguin here. Still trying to stay with the car in front, the 969 Lamborghini of Ludwig's. And the gap now about 9/10 of a second. So we'll see if Penguin can continue to try and close that gap.
Yeah, we'll see how things change with that gap. Some more stewards reports from race control then. 45 and 808 having some contact. No further action with that one. The 808 did get a 10-second time penalty. No licence points though for moving under braking and causing a collision. There was also a report between the 26 and the 28, which led to the 26 being spun round. No further action on that one. It was deemed to be that the 26 just didn't leave that 28 car enough space at the moment. Probably only a couple of minutes away then from the drivers starting to head in for their first pit stops. It was just Perek last time around who went for it. It was down to sort of in a world on his own. 27 seconds, well, 11 seconds behind Conor Wright, as, there we go, it has started.
The rain.
Wipers are on. We've got rain, folks.
And the track's gone from optimum to fast to greasy very quickly. Just for the viewers, I want to clear something up. The 808 that the penalty that the 808 got was not with the 45. It was with a, like you said, it was moving under braking, but that was a separate incident involving the 1 and the 666. So I just want to clarify that for the viewers. But the track, yeah, like you said, the rain already falling, and the track already greasy. So this track, it devolved really, really quickly, Luke. That is a very quick kind of deterioration of race conditions.
Yeah, and now it's going to be brave for these drivers. How long can they hold off on this set of dry tyres before they start coming into the pits? They've done around 55 minutes on this same set. They're going to be feeling pretty second-hand round about now, and already we've got a couple of cars. Aurora and Chico have made their way into the pits then. The leaders have carried on another lap. It will be intriguing to see the lap times dropping. They've not lost, well, someone who has lost quite a bit, because he has actually come into the pits, but it's not showing up on screen at the moment. Karekas is into the pit lane then. Our first one of the leaders to come in, and surely this has got to be, well, it's not going to be for another set of dry tyres, is it? With the rain predicted to be heavy rain coming in the next 10 minutes, and we're expecting it to be wet for possibly the entirety of the next stint.
Yeah, it's that's the thing is that it's, not only is it greasy, as pretty much everybody and their mother has gone into the pit lane now. I mean, half the field, I want to say, is in the pits currently. But not only is it that the track's gone to greasy, but like you're getting some form of rain, even if it's not heavy rain, some form of rain for the next 30, maybe 40 minutes. So just immediately come on for an earlier pit stop and throw the wet tires on. You've got no other option here, and you just want to make it easy for yourself and try to get a full stint out as the 871 has gone around. That's Max Niels towards the back. But yeah, all the drivers coming into the pits for a tire change. Did the 869 pit yet? I don't think the 869 did.
No, 869 I think stayed out, as did Pife actually on that occasion. The 720s had a moment there, so they're going to be plummeting down the field at the moment. So that's bad news, obviously, for them in all this. It's got a yellow flag there out on track at the moment. That's Karekas, of course. That is Karekas who was yellow flag. Not sure what that was for, because they were on their way into the pits. Not sure whether the timing's just got a bit messed up there. They have made a change. It is now Mantas Povoliatis in that McLaren. And the track condition has gone from greasy to damp. Judging by how much the rain's coming down at the moment, I don't think it'll be staying damp for too much longer. And you can just see how much time they're losing on this lap. Malinovsky, if he gets to the end of this lap, and I'm almost certain he'll be diving into the pits, you'd be talking more about a 2 minute 30 rather than the 2 minute 20s we've been seeing early on. So there we go, Malinovsky into the pits, P-Face coming in. Surely you haven't got a choice now. Surely you've got to dive into the pits this time around. Yeah,
absolutely. There's a driver change as well. Caracas out. Mantis Povolitis is in for the Beaver Grease Racing Lithuania number 720 McLaren. That is a driver change for what was effective P2 and leaders into the pits, effective P2, effective P3. And that is KW Clown Fiesta Eastbert's car, the Malinowski. He is into the pits, and so is Fabian Pife in the Race Anywhere SimSport number 213 Ferrari. So a lot more cars coming around, a lot more diving into the pits. They want to get the wet tires on as the track. Look, the forecast now, 30 minutes time. The weather expected to clear. The rain at least expected to stop. Expected to be cloudy, which could keep the track a little bit damp for longer, but the rain only expected to last maybe about a half hour here, Luke, because Malinowski, just a reminder, is going to have to serve that 5-second time penalty as well.
Yeah, of course, I'm going to have that time penalty served. Malinowski, he's done a great job building that gap up anyway, so shouldn't be in any danger for the net race lead. You can just see how much time you are losing if you're staying out. I've just been looking at Ludwig's at the moment, about 3 seconds slower this time compared to Pavliatius in that 720 McLaren. And this might also be one to watch because the 720 and P3, they were close together. So this is going to be an intriguing one to see how well the Beaver Grease Racing Lithuania McLaren does that, and whether they can gain any time in this, gain any time on the leaders, whether they'll be able to challenge Malinovsky. I'm not so sure, but it's always going to be intriguing to see as some more cars coming into the pit. I believe that is the Ferrari, the 509, who, let's not forget, earlier on was right up, well, the 501, who was right up towards the front of the field. Pavel Zhorzabalski earlier on, now dropping a long way out of points contention. Really not being an ideal race for them. Here comes Povliatis up the hill, I think. Has managed to, it's going to be close here. You can just see P-Fay, I think, up ahead. So, whoever stepping out that extra lap proved to be the right tactic. It looks like it. P-Fay has retained that second place, and obviously the gap to Malinowski, because of that pit stop penalty, has closed right down. Gap between first and second, now it is Honzik driving Heiler in the 213 as well. So all top three cars going for a driver change. Gap at the front down to 3.1 seconds, and as the rain really starts to come down, it won't be too long before the game's seeing a lot worse than damp. 720 all over the back of 213.
Yeah, 720. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that because Povolitis here has got Mathieu Heiler in front, and so the Ferrari did, like you said, did excellent to stay in front of the 720, who just got around the rest of that lap traffic that was kind of bogging them down. And there it is, by the way, from damp to wet. This track immediately deteriorating. We've dropped 2 degrees as well, from 27 to 25 for air temperature. I believe track temperature was at, I want to say it was at 32, so I think it's only down a single degree right now, but that could very much change very quickly. Yeah, things can change fast around here, as Wojciech Ratashak is yellow flag there. I'm not sure whether, again, that's a bit of an incident. Had to make their way towards the pits. Wouldn't be surprising, given the weather that we're seeing at the moment. We're definitely not going to get any fastest laps now. I think that is pretty clear to see. Those that did pit earlier on, things have really slowed down, unsurprisingly, with all the different pace and all the weather at the moment. Again, we'll wait for things to just calm down before we start giving you the order of the field, and then unfortunately we are going to have to head off. There will be a stream obviously later on. Part 2 will be starting at the latest 5 PM, but Tetra and Shinson have said if they are able to get back early, I think Tetra's been at a bit of a party last night, so he might be a while before he's awake/sober enough to turn up. Shinson is at work, but we'll be hearing those two take the coverage through later on. But as we've come to the end of the first 2 hours of this race, and it's been a relatively clean race. The rain's starting to come down now, so it'll be interesting to see if it stays that way. And the 869 with Yaroslav Honzik back behind the wheel
A 3.7 lead over Hyler in the 213 and Pogliattis in the 720. Those three cars have pretty much dominated the entire way.
Yeah, so would you like me to really start the rundown of the field then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so it's Jaroslav Hanzik, KW Clown, Fiesta Esports Car 869 Ferrari leading the way, and then it is of course Hyla in the 213 Ferrari, the Race Anywhere Sim Sports in second place. Povilaitis, Mantas Povilaitis third, 720 McLaren Beaver Grease Racing Lithuania, and then of course in fourth is the BMW number is at 57, Daniel Paschk in the Van Wall Sim Sports car, and then Cole in the number 8 McLaren Flying Custodians is fifth. Nice performance from them overall, I have to say. They've really jumped up the field. Mateus Bogus in Victoria's Secret number 51 McLaren's the highest ranked silver class car. They are P6, and then you have in P7 James Warren, Race Anywhere Sim Sport number 12 Aston Martin. 8th is Jacob Tarasiuk in the 760 McLaren STMP car, and then it's the 122 in P9 of the Mercedes with Olaf Sosiuk in the GTWR R8G Academy car, and then in P10th Milan Hawk, Race Anywhere Sim Sport number 48 Aston Martin. Adam Bowers in 11th for 147 Ferrari WB Racing. That's the third place silver class car. Tarasiuk is the second place in P8. P12 is Florin Horens in the back of Vin Palm's number 5 BMW, and then Ilya Dudnitston in the Armamentario Skidnoff Racing 920 BMW in P13. Nicholas Alvarado, Modulo Drago Course number 9 Honda is in P14. Juan Diaz Butler Powell Motorsport 555 BMW is in P15, followed very closely by Teo Latsuk in the Huawei 969 Lamborghini. P17 is Thomas Voronats. It's the DSRT RJB Solutions, number 16 McLaren, number 101 BMW Wojciech Radizak in the Silver Racing Team X Eurowash BMW. That's P18. P19 Daniel Krebs, Drehemont Racing McLaren 169. Risha Cowdrey is in the Rinaldi Racing number 24 Ferrari for P20. Sergey Daniluk in the number 45 McLaren Crazy File Racing in P21. And then Heiko in the Project Remnants number 7 Bentley rounds out the top half of the field in P22.
Very, very well done indeed there, the one through the 22, well, the top 22 runners. We'll go through the rest of the field down pretty quickly. It's Jan Roberham in 23rd place at the moment in the Beeswax Warburton's car. 24th for Patrick Tominski in the Your Way Racing. In fact, it looks like there's a pretty decent battle going on between all of these. We've got Filipiak in 25th at the moment. Andrade is in 26th place. You can see the other time, obviously we have run out of space on the broadcasting time in there, so we've still got everyone still in the field. Still some drivers obviously looking to recover. Good news for the 199 car, they're not in last place as the 176, the Good Smell Racing car, has had a big issue earlier on, so they are still in the pits. They may well be out of this race, unfortunately for them, but 9 minutes 54 remaining, still a very wet circuit. Track temperature started to drop down. It is Jaroslav Honzing with a 4.6 second lead at the moment over Maciej Hyla. Matas Pogliattis just dropping back a bit in the McLaren. He'll be hoping they can keep into contact as the rain comes down at Spa-Francorchamps. Thank you so much everyone for joining us for the first 2 hours and 6 minutes of this race. Make sure to keep an eye on the AOR channel for when Tier 2 will be starting at the latest. Will be 5 PM British Summer Time, 4 PM UTC time. Other times, I'm not an expert on time zones, so can't really go much further than that one, so apologies for that. Thanks to Benikage for joining me. Thanks to all you guys for watching, and thanks to the drivers for putting on a brilliant performance. Later on, make sure to check out the AOR channel for part number 2 and the finale of the 12 hours of Spa. Take care of yourselves, and goodbye.